Senate plenary sitting or the Senate chambers. These senators include the cabinet. These cabinet secretaries include the cabinet secretary for defense, Aden Duale, the cabinet secretary for health, Susan Nahumicha, the cabinet secretary for interior and national administration, Professor Kithure Kindiki. These are the cabinet secretaries that this morning are set to appear before the Senate to respond to various questions from members of the Senate. Pursuant to the House Standing Order number 51C, which indicates that a senator shall ask his or her questions on the day it is scheduled in the order paper. And in today's order paper, the senators that have their questions scheduled in for today include the Honorable Senator for Nairobi City County, Edwin Sifuna, who will be posing a question to the Cabinet Secretary for Defense, Aden Duale, and the senator will be seeking responses from the Cabinet Secretary to understand whether the renovations works at Uhuru Park in Nairobi City, which was being done by the Kenya Defence Forces, KDF, whether the works are complete. This is with regards to the renovation works at Uhuru Park in Nairobi City that were being undertaken by the Kenya Defence Forces. Also, the senator will be seeking to get answers from the Cabinet Secretary on whether the park has been handed over to the Nairobi City County government, and if not, whether the Cabinet Secretary could provide a timeline for the same. These are the questions that the Honorable Senator for Nairobi City County, Honorable Edwin Sifuna, will be asking the Cabinet Secretary for Defense, Aden Duale, who will be appearing before the Senate this morning. As you can see inside the chambers is that preparations are underway. They are actually done. And once the House starts, then the Cabinet Secretary will be invited into the chambers and shown the point where he will be standing as he responds to these questions. The Honorable Senator for Kisumu County also this morning will be granted time to ask a question to the Cabinet Secretary for Health, Susan Nahumicha. The Senator for Kisumu County, Honorable Senator Professor Tom Ojenda, will be seeking to understand from the CS whether the Cabinet Secretary could confirm that there is widespread medical insurance fraud perpetrated by healthcare facilities in Kenya, particularly within the private health sector, through practices such as unnecessary medical tests, scans, and incorrect diagnosis aimed at unfairly generating revenue for the facilities. The Honorable Senator will also be seeking to understand from the Cabinet Secretary whether the government has conducted an inquiry into this matter, and if so, whether the Cabinet Secretary could table the report of its findings. The last question by the Honorable Senator Professor Tom Ojenda to the CS for Health will be what measures the government has put in place to ensure accountability by healthcare facilities and to provide compensation to the victims of medical insurance fraud. These three questions are set to be responded to by the Cabinet Secretary for Health, Susan Nahumicha, posed by the Senator for Kisumu County, Honorable Professor Tom Ojenda. The Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration, Professor Kithure Kindiki, will be responding to questions by four senators this morning. The Senator for Kisumu County, Professor Tom Ojenda, has three questions for the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration. This question includes that could the Cabinet Secretary provide a status update on investigations into the intercommunal clashes that occurred in Sondu town, which lies in the border region of Kericho and Kisumu counties during the demonstrations in June and July 2023. On the same line, the Senator will be asking the Cabinet Secretary what progress the government has made in the disarmament of armed groups in the town, as well as measures the government has put in place to promote peaceful coexistence. But as you can see, the Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Lamason Jeffa Kingi, is in the chambers. He will be presiding over this morning's sitting. Allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast brought to you by PBU in partnership with KBC. Good morning.
Na tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, twakusihi ututazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamhuri yetu. Twakuomba tuajalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi hii yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Clerk, do you have quorum? Sanjay Tatams, kindly ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
Well, the Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Lamason Jeffa Kingi, has directed that the quorum bell be rung for 10 minutes. This is pursuant to the House Standing Order number 39 and 40. Standing Order 39 indicates that the quorum of the Senate shall be 15 senators. This means that before the House commences its sitting, the 15 members should be inside the chambers and seated for the House to be considered to have achieved that required number of members at the commencement of the House business. So if there is no quorum present, once the chair is taken at the appointed time for the sitting of the Senate, the Speaker shall immediately after the prayer order the bell be rung for 10 minutes. That is exactly what we have seen the Speaker do after the prayer. Once the quorum was identified to be absent, that's when the Speaker ordered the bell to be rung. But just to inform you is that pursuant to standing order number 51, that there shall be time designated for questions and responses from the cabinet secretaries. Is that this morning 3 cabinet secretaries are set to appear before the Senate chambers to respond to various questions by the honorable senators. The first cabinet secretary is the Cabinet Secretary for Defense, Aden Duale, who we understand that he is already within the precincts of Parliament. And as you can see, members are walking into the chambers. Of course, once the quorum is achieved, the quorum is of 15 members. The sergeant at arms and clerk are keeping tabs with the numbers of the members who are in the chambers. And once that number is achieved, then they will be alerting the Speaker to call the House to order. And the Cabinet Secretary will be invited into the chambers to respond to these questions by the honorable members. Standing Order 51C on responses to questions by the Cabinet Secretary, Part 2 indicates that a senator may, in writing, nominate another senator to ask a question on his or her behalf, where the senator shall be absent on the day on which the question is listed. So in this case, we have been seeing a number of times that in case the senator has a question and he is or she is not around, then they usually nominate one of their own or a colleague to ask that question on their behalf. Where a senator is absent and has not nominated another senator to ask the question on his or her behalf, the question shall be dropped. So let's get back to the questions that the cabinet secretaries this morning will be responding to. Remember, 3 of them are set to appear. This is Cabinet Secretary for Defense, Aden Duale, Cabinet Secretary for Health, Susanna Humicha, and Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration, Professor Kithure Kindiki. The Honorable Senator for Tharaka Nithi, Senator Mwenda Gataya Mofaya, will be asking the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration whether there are plans by the national government to construct offices, deploy administrative officers, and provide necessary equipment to Chiakariga sub-county in Tharaka Nithi County, which was established in 2022 but remains non-functional, and if so, whether the Cabinet Secretary could provide timelines for the same. Well, allow me to hand you over to the live broadcast. The quorum has been achieved. Good morning.
Clerk, kindly call the first order, please.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers. Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Now, honorable senators, we expected 3 CSs this morning. However, the CS in charge of Interior and National Administration will not be with us this morning for purposes of responding to the questions by the Senator for Kisumu and also the Senator for Meru, the Senator for Turkana, the Senator for Tana River. Those are the senators who had questions relating to Interior National Administration. So those questions will be deferred. We have the presence of 2 CSs this morning. That is the CS in charge of Defense and the CS in charge of Health. So we will proceed with the question by the Senator for Nairobi, and thereafter we will take the questions for the Senator for Kisumu, and that touch on the Cabinet Secretary for Health. Clerk, can you confirm that the CS Defense is present? Now, honorable senators, I'm informed that the CS Defense is present in the House, and therefore we shall proceed with question number 28, which is being asked by the Senator for Nairobi, Honorable Edwin Sifuna. Honorable CS, can welcome to the Senate. These are corridors that you're extremely familiar with, so I need not take time to explain to you how we go about conducting our business here. Welcome to the Senate. The Senator for Nairobi, you may now proceed to ask your question.
Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we wanted to know from the CS for Defense two matters. Number one, are the renovation works at Uhuru Park in Nairobi City, which was being undertaken by the Kenya Defense Forces, complete? And number two, has the park been handed over or back to the Nairobi City County Government? And if not, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a timeline for the same?
Honorable CS, you may now proceed to respond to the question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and honorable senators. And it's good to be back home. These corridors have been my home for 17 and a half years. So every time I come back to Parliament, I feel like I'm back home. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Defense was tasked with the rehabilitation of the open spaces in both Uhuru and Central Parks of the County of Nairobi. And this project began in March of 2022, which was jointly implemented with Nairobi Metropolitan City Services then. Honorable Speaker, it should be noted that the quality of the park facilities then had become deeply dated over time to the point where they were no longer functioning. All the facilities there were not functioning. It became a security issue. Additionally, the monuments, the water features have been vandalized and stolen. This situation was exacerbated by the inadequate security, prompting the intervention by the national government in March of 2022. The objective of this project was to restore the glory of the Uhuru Park and Central Park by first rehabilitating the green spaces, restoring the monuments, improving the infrastructure, and enhancing security through the fencing and installation of visitors management system. Honorable Speaker, the Senator for Nairobi sought from the Ministry of Defense two questions, which I will start with the first question. The first question: are the renovation works at the Uhuru Park in Nairobi County, which were being undertaken by our ministry, MOD, complete? Yes, the construction work at Uhuru Park are practically complete as per the contract. However, we have only few pending works, less than 8%, which we have agreed, and we are signing an MOU with the county government of Nairobi, so they can assure us in a very in less time, less than 3 weeks, they will fix those. One of them is the water connection. We have done a borehole, but completing the water connection from the borehole to the water tanks is what is remaining. We have been asking the governor of Nairobi and Nairobi County just to complete. Two, the drainage works. The drainage works at Central Park, not Uhuru, at Central Park, have been pending. And this was because we were waiting for the construction of the main drainage along Uhuru Highway to be undertaken by Kenya. Discussion with Kenya have since been finalized, and they have assured the Ministry of Defense that the storm water connection will be completed soon. We also have documentation to that effect that the Kenya National Highway Construction, who man the Uhuru Highway and the expressway, must do their bit so that we can finish the drainage, so that the water, we can connect our drainage system to the Uhuru Highway drainage system. B, the second question, 28B, is has the park been handed over to Nairobi County government, and could the Cabinet Secretary provide a timeline? Mr. Speaker, I am handing over that park tomorrow morning. We were looking for time. We were talking to the governor. He has now given us his availability, and tomorrow I want to assure this House that 9 o'clock, the governor, we expect him, and we hand over. Running parks is not our core mandate. This House knows the Constitution provides that we protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of our country. We only come to do one or two things when we are called upon by the national government. So tomorrow at 9, and I'm inviting the Senator of Nairobi, the leadership of Nairobi. If you didn't get the invitation, we will send an invitation. Please come and take over your park alongside the county government of Nairobi. So as mentioned earlier, the works at Uhuru Park have been completed as per the contract, with only minimal works remaining for Central Park. However, the ministry, in collaboration with the county government of Nairobi, has been allowing the public to use this facility on occasions and functions, including the inaugural Nairobi Festival of December 2022, the World Rally Championship Safari Rally launch of June 2023, the Community Health Promoters launch by His Excellency in September of 2023, the Nairobi Festival of December 2023, the Christmas festivity we opened, and the New Year we opened for the citizens of Nairobi, and the last one was the Private Security Regulatory Authority launch of Guard Force number March 2024, which was done barely a month ago. Mr. Speaker, the maintenance of the park is, however, faced with challenges. For example, during last year's Christmas festivity, when we opened up in consultation with the governor of Nairobi, Uhuru Park was open to the public then. But there was a resultant in the damage to some of the structures we have done, including the aircraft which we have stationed on the ground. That aircraft is supposed to be turned into a fast food court. So we realized, and the good thing is we told the governor that we are not going to hand over until that damage is rectified, and we're happy to report that they have already, Nairobi County government has rectified those facilities. Consequently, the ministry is collaborating with the county government of Nairobi to establish the management modalities for the parks before the official opening. The rehabilitation of the parks were geared towards enhancing visitors' experience by ensuring the park meets global accepted standard. The works undertaken in the park include the following, what we have done since we took that project: creation, improvement, and sprucing up of green spaces, gardens, and lawns, introduction of control access points and enhanced security through gates and fences, setting up of container restaurants, mainly fast food, creation of a skating park, innovation of a culturally symbolic Nyatiti water feature for events, setting up of outdoor libraries and reading areas. We expect during lunchtime, Kenyans can walk to that park, they can go and really spend 1 hour. We have put benches there. We expect the Nairobi County government to put Wi-Fi so that people, the 2-hour, 1-hour break from conferences in the hotels around here, if you want to go and stretch your legs, you can just walk to the park and read your book, send emails, and have a very good ambience environment. We have also set up outdoor plazas and shelter gardens. We have done a creation of water cascade. We have built enough ablution facilities designated for both gender. We have improved and did addition walkways and jogging tracks. Mr. Speaker, even this House and Parliament should have an MOU with the Nairobi County government, that in the evening, senators and members of Parliament after the gym, those who want to walk, they can cross to Uhuru Park and walk, do early in the morning, jogging in that the air, the environment is really welcoming. Of course, the cost of this project for both parks, the Nairobi and the Uhuru and Central, was 1.18 billion. The Nairobi County government will in future, they must do two things. One, to sustain and maintain the standards. Our biggest fear is that this park goes back to its old situation. So we expect Nairobi County to have competent men and women, people learn from other countries on how parks are run, and two, to allocate budget and funds for the proposed additional facilities, which were not in the contract, but we feel are very important. These works are estimated to be about 550 million, they can be less, and some of the facilities is, there is a plan to do a dancing water fountain, The CCTV installation is very, very key for security purposes. We want to do a pedestrian footbridge, maybe add more additional restaurants in the future, and then do a proper management office. To make sure that we help the governor and the county, Mr. Speaker, we have agreed that we will leave our technical team, because the engineers, the architects, the landscapers, all these experts from the Ministry of Defense who participated and who were part of this project, we have asked the governor, we will do an MOU with him tomorrow, that they stay with him for the next 6 to 8 months to show him that if there is a small problem, just to do a transition. So we told him we will leave our team for just 6 months to help you climatize. Already his people are doing good work. The Nairobi County government staff are doing in terms of cleaning, cutting the grass, and maintaining cleanness. But we have told him we will do a small MOU with you, that after 6 months we will leave the site, but within 6 months we will stay with you. And during this period, the Nairobi County government we expect them, and we want to supervise them, that they complete the installation of the associated facilities to further enhance visitors' experience. This memorandum of understanding will officially be signed tomorrow as we hand over the park to Nairobi County government for opening to public. I hope over the weekend they should open to the public. We have a very good entrance gate management system we have installed, so that, and we expect at least the Uhuru Park to be free to the public, and maybe Central Park, Nairobi County government with the stakeholders can agree on what they can charge, but of course very minimal. We have provided a provision in Central Park for a security a police post. These parks globally everywhere, there must be security. We don't want our daughters, our sons, our family, citizens to be victims of insecurity when they are enjoying the ambience of the park. So at the far end of Central Park, there is a facility. So we'll ask the Inspector General of Police, in consultation with the stakeholders and Nairobi County government, to provide a small police post. Honorable members, I would like to reaffirm that the Ministry of Defense is committed to ensuring that the parks are not only open to the public, but also adequately maintained by a very robust management team, and that should be provided by the county leadership of Nairobi. Speaker, I really want to assure the Senate and indeed the entire public that the Ministry of Defense is committed to fulfilling our obligations and ensuring that all the pending works within the Central Park are completed within the shortest time possible and is also open to the public. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable CS. The Senator for Nairobi, Honorable Sifuna, do you have any supplementary questions?
Yes, indeed, Mr. Speaker, I do have supplementary questions. Just to say, I thank the CS first for that comprehensive response, but this is something, CS, perhaps you advise your team that they also be responding to correspondence from senators, because I did write to you in February, and all this could have been responded to in writing. I don't know what sort of correspondence management system you have at the Ministry of Defense, but it needs improvement. Number two, it is a terrible indictment on the capacity of the Nairobi County if the Ministry of Defense is doubting our ability to manage a park. It just breaks my heart, Mr. Speaker, to hear some of these things. So I would want to know, first of all, Honorable CS, I had occasion to visit this park in October of 2023, and you have spoken about maintenance of monuments. I want to know what was the rationale for the demolition of the main pavilion where we used to address our supporters from, because I believe that was also a monument that needed to be preserved. Number two, you have spoken of a visitors management system that has been developed by the ministry. I want to know if that system will be managed by the ministry or you will be handing it over to the Nairobi City County government for further use. And it would have been nice, Mr. Speaker, if the House would have had sight of the sort of MOU that we expect to be signing tomorrow, because I am a worried senator, Mr. Speaker, given the reservations that have been expressed by the CS on our capacity, that in fact these works have just been delayed by two things. Connection of water and improvement of drainage works is what has kept the people of Nairobi away from their park for almost 2 years, Mr. Speaker. So I want the CS to, if he can just very briefly, tell us the contents of that MOU, because we understand that under the Constitution, if there's going to be a transfer of funds, of functions between county governments, there needs to be a solid agreement as to what that entails. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
Mr. Speaker, I am, many years I was a founder member of ODM. And I know the rank and the file and supporters of ODM and many other political parties. That park will never again be used by politicians to address rallies. It's out of bound. So, why is because you rarely see parks. So one of the reasons you said why we removed is that those of us who are in the political class will look for another park. We'll look for another venue. So Uhuru Park and Central Park belongs to the citizens of Nairobi and other Kenyans, that during the weekend, when they want to enjoy, when they have a choice between going to a mall or going to a park. So I am sure even the governor of Nairobi will not, the provision anyway is not there. I'm sure it was the best place for popular parties like ODM and the others like in Kenya Kwanza. That's where you show your might. You can raise the highest number, but I think there are many other open places we will go. And number two, the MOU, I will provide the MOU. It's just one page. It's just our existence to be there for 6 months for the transfer. You know, we didn't want it to stay. Kenya Defense Forces cannot stay in a place without anything. So we have told the governor, just sign for us that we'll be with you in 6 months. Our technical team will be with you to show you where the roads are. So that as you transition, we have something that will cover our officers. And tomorrow when we are signing, and in fact, before the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, because it's a public document, I'll send the senator a copy. So if you see the serious issue, please tell me before 9 o'clock tomorrow. We can postpone the meeting, but it's one-page document. On the entrance management system, it's part of what we're handing over. So everything will be handed over. He will manage the traffic. They will do everything. We will walk out of that place tomorrow, and just like any other person who hands over, we just said, give us an MOU, give us 6 months. We will show you on how to protect the park, how to do everything with your team. And after 6 months, we get out of it. So everything, including the park management system. But I really want the senator of Nairobi to help me, because this is his county, that please tell the political class, those who want to do weddings, they have got a good place. Those who want to have big functions, but you know our supporters. If they stay there for 1 hour, then the park will go back to where it was before. So let's keep our supporters, let's keep politics out of the park. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mungatana.
Mr. Speaker, I also want to...
Senator Kavindu, no. You know what to do if you want to catch the Speaker's eye, so just stay put. Senator Mungatana, proceed.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to join my colleague in welcoming our former colleague in this place, and thank you for coming. Mr. Speaker, I'm speaking in a way, I'm raising a complaint as I ask this question. Mr. Speaker, is there a framework for invoking the involvement, formal involvement of the military in the civilian affairs. I ask this because, Mr. Speaker, it has been like the minister has, whether it is him or the previous administration, tended to favor Nairobi. We know that the military, when they get involved, they do very good work. But is there a way we can invoke them? Because right now, the minister is my neighbor, Garissa, Tana River County, between Madogo and the county of Garissa. That bridge, the highway has been mismanaged by the KNHA. Why can't the minister invoke his office to bring in the military to solve that problem? I'm asking him if there is a way he can come in there, and on the other side between Tana River and Lamu, that road also, the Kenya National Highways Authority has not done a good job. We know if the military can come in, they will resolve those problems, because both those problems happened when the infrastructure was destroyed during the flooding. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm asking the minister, is there a way that they can also distribute the military to help us in some of our counties, not just favoring particular counties? Mr. Speaker, thank you.
I will allow Senator Wambua to ask his question so that the CS can take the two together.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is very closely related to what Senator Mugatana was alluding to in his opening remarks. Speaker, Article 187 of the Constitution is very clear on transfer of functions from one level of government to another level of government. And one of the requirements of that article, Mr. Speaker, is that when that transfer is going to take place, then arrangements shall be put in place to ensure that the resources necessary for the performance of the function or exercise of the power are transferred. As Speaker, I would want to know whether Article 187 of the Constitution was invoked in this transfer of this function from the county government of Nairobi to the Ministry of Defense, and whether then the county government of Nairobi transferred the resources necessary for that function to the Ministry of Defense to undertake that function. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
Mr. Speaker, let me start with Honorable my neighbor, Senator Mungatana. I agree with him that there are times, and the Constitution provides for that. Article 243, Sub-Article 3B of the Constitution allows Kenya Defense Forces, when they are called upon, particularly on emergency, like what's happening now in part of Tana River, Garissa, and Lamu, to come in and assist citizens. That we did it during the El Nino, you remember. We are going to do now. In fact, today we are hearing all the dams are overflowing, and we expect in the next 4 days a lot of flooding in Garissa, Garissa, Tana River, and Lamu, to be very specific. So I agree with you. Of course, in concurrence with the Commander-in-Chief, there are many things that we will do. We are thinking of, like other countries, to establish a formal and even legally a construction industrial company within KDF, that where they can be sent to remote parts in secure regions, do road construction, do water, dams, build schools. So the Defense Council is working on that to make sure that now we have a specific department called the construction, like in other countries, like if you go to the US, if you go to Egypt, so that where even contractors cannot reach because of the terrain, because of insecurity, the military have a wing that can do national project. Coming back to, and we are going to work with the leadership of Garissa and Tana River and Lamu, more specifically. We are working with them now in the Boni Enclave to make sure that terrorists don't cross from Somalia into our country. On the question by the senator for Kitui, Senator Wambua, I don't want to, that Article 183 is very specific on transfer of functions. 187 is very specific on transfer of functions. This was done, whether it was done procedurally, whether it was not, a due process was not followed, that was done by the previous administration. I want to assure you that the Governor Sonko's issue, the creation of the Nairobi Metropolitan Service, and any other organ outside the Constitution will never be created under the administration led by Honorable William Ruto. That will never happen. So I came to office in September of 2022. We found the park, and our business was to make sure, as Senator of Nairobi said, we complete the park, we hand over. This House has an obligation, as a former member of parliament, this House has an obligation, its committees, to go and find out why Article 187 was violated by the previous leadership. I don't think I can carry myself. I was not part and parcel of those who violated Article 187 in those days. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Miraj.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika, na nimkaribishe waziri na niweze pia mimi kutoa swali langu. Ni kwamba pale Mombasa, bwana waziri, tuko na park inaitwa Uhuru Park. Inaitwa Uhuru Park pale Mombasa, na wakati wa nyuma ilikuwa imenyakuliwa na mabwenyenye, na tunashukuru kwamba tumeweza kuregeshewa hati miliki. Nilikuwa nauliza kama mwakilishi wa Mombasa, je, tunaweza kupata huduma ambazo mumeweza kuzifanyia gatuzi ya Nairobi ya kuja kurekebisha, kufanya ukarabati ili kuregesha nidhamu? Kwa sababu kuna changamoto kubwa ambayo inatukabili pale Mombasa, bwana waziri, ya kwamba kuna jamii za watu wanaorandaranda ambazo inaongeza idadi ya utovu wa usalama katika mji wetu. Labda pengine na sisi tukipawa fursa muje pale muturekebishie ili kuwe na nidhamu, kwa sababu tumeona ni jambo ambalo limekuwa kero sana kwa wananchi wa Mombasa katika garden hiyo ya Uhuru na pale Makadara Grounds. Swali langu lilikuwa ni je, tunaweza kupata huduma kama hiyo ya kufanywa ukarabati wa mabustani yale yetu? Na pia ni kuombe, kwa sababu unahusika katika asasi ya usalama, muweze kuangalia mbinu ya kushirikiana na gavana wetu wa Mombasa ili muweze kuwapa makazi mazuri, kwa sababu sitaki nieleweke vibaya kwamba tunataka tu kuondosha, lakini sio kuenda wao kusumbuliwa pale walipo, kwa sababu wao kama raia wengine wale machokora wanaorandaranda wako na haki ya kupawa mahali pazuri pa kuishi. Ningependekeza pia kama yawezekana hizi nyumba za bei nafuu ambazo zinapeanwa, hawa watu waweze kupawa mahali pazuri pa kuishi, kwa sababu ni kero na usalama unazidi kuzorota katika mji wetu wa Mombasa. So nauliza kama inawezekana mufike kule Mombasa muturekebishie yale mabustani yetu ili tuweze kupata mandhari mazuri ya kuweza kujivinjari. Asante.
Senator Kavindu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mine, I was just following the question that was asked by Senator Sifuna and the answer that the CS gave, that the park belongs to the citizens and only citizens can go there. And I want him to clarify if politicians are not citizens.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
Speaker, politicians are citizens, and they are very important citizens. They are leaders. All that I said is they will not do their trade, their rallies, and they will not take their tools of trade and support us to Uhuru Park. And that's why I said earlier, even our senators, our members of parliament, staff of parliament, now have an opportunity to walk to the park in the evening. It's well lit. They can do their jogging, they can do their walking. So they are citizens. And Senator Kavindu, I did not mean that they will not be allowed. I only said rallies and meetings of our important citizens, the leadership will not be, as it used to be, will not be, they can go to Kasarani. Once we renovate Kasarani, and as we prepare for AFCON, I think last election we were doing Nyayo and Kasarani, and now there are many other stadiums coming. Mheshimiwa Speaker, Stani wala zinasema kama swali imeulizwa kwa Kiswahili lazima nijibu kwa Kiswahili. Wacha nijaribu kwa dada yangu Senator mteule kutoka Mombasa. Hiyo mpango inaweza kufanyika, lakini sitaki ifanyike na ifanye kosa kwa katiba vile Senator wa Kitui alifanya. Kuna namna tunaweza kufanya. Gavana wa Mombasa anaweza kuuliza tushirikiane, kurudisha nyuso na uzuri wa Uhuru Gardens na Makadara. Yale mengine ya hata Uhuru Park hatutaki watu ambaye wataharibu kama vale vijana wa kurandaranda kwenda kwa Uhuru Park. Lazima hata wakikuja lazima wakuja na nidhamu na iangaliwe. We don't want, tutaki turudishe hiyo Uhuru Park iwe kama zamani. So na hile ya housing wapewe, nafikiri waziri wa housing atakuja hapa ajibu hiyo swali. Mambo ya manyumba nafikiri nikisema nitaongea itakuwa nimekosea ile heshima mwenzangu waziri ako nayo. Asanteni.
Senator Chute.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me take this opportunity first to congratulate our CS who have served as a politician for many years and also as a CS now, and also thank him and the Department of Defense, Ministry of Defense, for the good work they are doing. First of all, at KMC, the KMC was before my committee about 2 weeks ago, and they've done a very good job. They've made profits now. Thank you very much for that. Also, let me take this opportunity to thank you for what you've done in Sololo, Level 4 Hospital, and the football stadiums in this country. This question goes to Honorable CS. There is a flooding in Northor. The roads are impassable. The people in Northor, Dukana, Gas are suffering. Honorable CS, what can you do to help the people in that area? We have military personnel in a place called Hidido in Northern constituency. Can you deploy that military to help the people in Northern, Gas, and Dukana? Thank you very much.
Senator Dulo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I wish also to welcome our brother, CS Defense. Now, Mr. Speaker, I think we have outstanding issues with the CS, and we have spoken severally on it, more specifically on matters of land. And I believe there is no county that has really taken care of the interest of defense more than Isiolo County, because we have about 4 camps in Isiolo County. And I'm actually can I say unhappy or depressed when I hear other counties are really pressing KDF and benefiting from the fruits of KDF, and yet Isiolo County that is taking care of KDF in many ways has not benefited much. My question is, Mr. Speaker, to the CS, can we please resolve the outstanding issue? And secondly, maybe something that we can appreciate KDF with. More specifically, I would say something like a stadium, especially for the youths, because we have a small stadium that has stuck because of several issues. If they can actually put up a stadium for us, we have so many talents that are wasted in Isiolo due to drugs and so many other challenges. Please, PS, I'm pleading to you, can we have something that we can appreciate KDF for? Because today in Isiolo, people are condemning KDF because of land, because of so many things. But if we get something nice that is put up there in the interest of Isiolo people from KDF, the relationship will be actually very good. I thank you.
Senator Chirange.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mine, and it's good to see the Majority Leader Emeritus back. Mine is a quick also, just follow what Senator Dula said. I wanted to find the status of the resolution of the issue of land around RTS in Eldoret. Mr. Speaker, there are members from Nandi under the name of Leseru Tebeson Farmers Cooperative Society, where they have 3,500 acres, and it is owned by more than 500 members. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to find the status because the CS came and mentioned the famous Chepsilange, yet that matter has moved to court. It has been litigated, and they have found out that 3,500 acres rightly belong to 500 members to Leseru Tebeson Farmers, led by one Chepsilange, Mr. Speaker. And in that resolution, what is the CS doing to ensure what Senator Dula said, bringing that unity and cohesiveness? Mr. Speaker, sir, there have been suspicious and mysterious deaths of youth around the barracks within Eldoret. What is the CS and Army doing to ensure that matter is resolved, Mr. Speaker?
What is the point of order, Senator
Mr. Speaker, there is no provision in the law that under supplementary question you ask point of order.
I will invoke standing order number one.
Mr. Speaker.
Senator Fernandi.
I finish my questions. I thank you.
Yes, Senator Mandago, what is the point of order?
Honorable Speaker, I'm standing order number 105 on statement of fact.
Well, we are interrupting the live proceedings of the Senate this morning's sitting to take you to the Kenyatta International Convention Center, where this morning there is the official launch of the National Road Safety Action Plan 2024-2028 by His Excellency the President of Kenya, Honorable William Samoei Ruto. This is an event that is at the KICC. Allow me to hand you over to this event, then we will be back shortly with the Senate proceedings. Good morning.
Who alleges must prove, so the Senator of Uasin Gishu must also prove. I have facts, Mr. Speaker, and if you give me, the CS can answer on the final part of resolution because implementation, but if you need the court documents and everything, you can give me maybe up to next week, Tuesday, I can be able to table. But in future, teach the Senator of Uasin Gishu. He said Nandis are, he said, Mr. Speaker,
Senator Fernandi,
invaders, Mr. Speaker, can you withdraw saying we are invaders? We have never invaded anything. We only invade the kingdom of heaven, Mr. Speaker. We don't invade Uasin Gishu.
Senator Fernandi, can you take your seat? Honorable CS, you will proceed to respond to the question and leave alone the rest of the particular contribution. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senator from Marsabit, yes, there is a serious flooding.
They are not here now, but this is a team that we have worked together to make sure that road safety is critical. I want to thank also the Parliament and our parliamentary committee. And thank you, George, for the work you're doing with your committee. Indeed, as the chair said, Your Excellency, this is one of the best committees, very friendly, hardworking, and they have been able to pass as many regulations and legislation we have requested them and facilitated the ministry to be able to do its work. So I want to thank them. I want to thank the stakeholders. Karakasha is here with the various border industry is also represented here. We have Matatu owners, Matatu welfare, transport associations who are here, different associations who have been of immense importance in terms of coming up with this very important strategic road safety action plan. Your Excellency, this is not the work of the ministry alone. This is a sector that cannot succeed if we try or even attempt to do things on our own. We will not succeed. Our intention and my intention in this ministry is to make sure that we have institutionalized solutions to problems of road safety. I do not wish Your Excellency to be glorified as a cabinet secretary or to have measures that will only be remembered for the short period of time I will serve in this docket. It should be, Your Excellency, that we have measures that I would last us, including your administration, so that therefore we have a country that reduces road carnage and road accidents, which is very painful if we think about the statistics. Your Excellency, the statistics are very, very, very grim and actually very telling of the very terrible behavior we have as citizens of this country. To be losing between 4,000 to 4,600, the highest was 2022, 4,600, and if we had gone at this rate in this year, perhaps we were going to surpass that number. And Your Excellency, every year to lose those people, and again to have about 20,000 critical enough to know that all the hospitals across the country, especially level 5 and above, have wards that are called border wards. You know, Your Excellency, where you have people who are critically injured. We have bills. We all know in our neighborhood that we've been paying bills of up to, 4-5 million per accident, and you lose the person and you pay a higher bill, Your Excellency. It is estimated by the Ministry of Planning that we lose about 450 billion annually, which is 5% of our GDP, Your Excellency, to road accidents, because the pressure that it gives in the hospitals, the pressure that we go through because of these road accidents. And I think that this is something that should worry us. I was telling Kenyans the other day that we should have our anger sustained every day, because we have a situation where when we have road accident, like we had a few grisly road accidents in the last 1 month, you have national outrage and everybody in the country is looking for somebody to blame. And usually the easiest target is the cabinet secretary. And Your Excellency, that outrage just lasts 1 week. When a new agenda comes, people move to something else. If we were outraged enough and angry enough, each one of us would do something every day to make sure that our roads are safe, because the greatest causes of accidents is recklessness. The most important actor in road accidents, Your Excellency, is the driver and the rider, because that is the man or woman who has the greatest control on whether or not they are going to sort out the problem of road accident. And therefore, in this strategic plan, the driver and the rider are at the center of this strategic plan, Your Excellency. We are talking about what do we do to be able to train these drivers. I agree with the chair, and thank you very much, because that comes from the sector that is extremely important, that we are training our drivers for only 2 weeks, sometimes 1 week. Your Excellency, it's even worse for border riders, for motorcycle riders. Many of them, Your Excellency, go to the nearest football pitch, or they go to the nearest wheat farm, or the nearest maize farm. They train one afternoon, and the next day they are carrying an entire family, Your Excellency, without a driving license, without, Your Excellency, being checked. This is a sector that we have said that in the strategic plan we must train our drivers well, we must train our riders, and we must hold them accountable, Your Excellency. If this area is sorted, as we have talked with Matatu owners, including BRT system, we've been talking with Sakaja, among others, we are going to double or triple the people who are going to be employed when we eventually agree to organize this sector. Your Excellency, we want to protect the driver. Most of these drivers cause accidents because of fatigue. The Matatu owners and the business people are the ones who are telling them that you don't have a salary. But if you can give me a return tonight of 1 million, whatever is on top, it is yours. If you give me a return of 400,000, whatever is on top is yours. So the driver is driving, running helter-skelter around the city, around the country, trying to meet the targets of the matatu owner so that they can have something on top of it. Yet the law speaks to the opposite, that a driver can only work for 8 hours. These people are not in properly organized employment. They do not have NSSF, they don't have NHIF. We want to work with the owners to make sure that the drivers are organized. They can only work for 8 hours, Your Excellency, and that means, therefore, instead of one driver working for 16, 18 hours, we are able to employ 2 people to carry out the responsibility that can be done, Your Excellency, as a driver. So the driver is at the center of this conversation. The rider is at the center. We want our drivers to accept that this is a job. This is a very important job. The government of Kenya today was formed because we told the people of Kenya that dignity of work is very important, that we must respect people from bottom up, that if you are a driver, we value you. If you are a rider, we value you. In any case, His Excellency the President was elected by hanging around border riders and drivers and people who are considered lowly in society. We want you to live in dignity. But if you must live in dignity, you must also partner with us for us to help you to have a dignified life. You must also respect yourself, to love your job, and to do it in the right way. If you are a border rider and you respect yourself, you will have a helmet. If you are a border rider and you respect yourself, you will respect your machine. If you are a matatu driver, you will dress well, you will come to your job, you respect your machine, you respect your life, you want to live long. If it starts from there, then the government of Kenya partnering with you can help you through the financial mechanism that has been put in place, a hustler fund. We can move further to ensure that we source funding for you to start your business. We can move further to do many other things. And Your Excellency, since this strategic plan puts partnership at the center, I want to request our drivers and riders work with the ministry to sort this issue. The other very important partner, Your Excellency, is the county government. I have requested, Your Excellency, in writing that the next summit considers road safety as its most important agenda. Your Excellency, we have 2.5 million motorcycles in the country. About 1.8 million are active. And these active border riders, Your Excellency, need to be organized. We will not be able to organize them at Nairobi. These are transport mechanism of last mile. And as Honorable Sakaja has said, during the next summit, Your Excellency, under your leadership, let us discuss how to empower the counties, including, Your Excellency, the resources we will raise from instant finding and other mechanisms being sent to county governments to help them do road safety. Let them define where the border riders will operate from. Let them define the registration of border riders. For Honorable Sakaja to sort security in this city, he must be able to manage border sector. And I believe, Your Excellency, in the next agenda, as part of the strategic partnership, you will help us to make sure that counties, I would have expected that this meeting, because of the greater outrage we had, in the last 1 month, every county leader and at least the Council of Governors would have considered this function extremely important. Because if we are going to sort the road accidents issue, we have to deal with border. You know why, Your Excellency? The leading cause of accidents in the country is borders now. The year 2000 to 2008, it used to be the public transport vehicles and private vehicles. But today, we lose the percentage of loss that we have. 38% of the people we lose, Your Excellency, are pedestrians. 32% are border riders. And Your Excellency, followed now with the passengers, who are 26% caused by PSV vehicles and private vehicles. Meaning, therefore, that if we have to reduce accidents, including the pedestrians that are knocked every day in the city of Nairobi and other parts of the country, we have to sort out the border sector, because that is important. And the question we should ask ourselves, how come our neighboring country has managed to organize border sector that everybody dutifully is able to wear a helmet, Your Excellency, including the passenger? Now, if you come to Nairobi and you tell our Nairobi queens that you need to wear a helmet, they tell you, oh, it's smelling, or it's messing up my hair, Your Excellency. which is more important. And it is proven, Your Excellency, that if you have an accident with a helmet, you are likely to survive, Your Excellency, because most of the injuries go to the head, and they are the most difficult injuries also to deal with. Your Excellency, we have in this strategic plan, Your Excellency, in this plan, we have put technology on the forefront. Your Excellency, thank you very much, because you have been calling every day to find out where are we with the instant finding system. Thank you, Your Excellency, because on your travel to Korea, as your first travel in the first year, you managed to secure and support a fund that will ensure that we have ITS system in the Nairobi city, Your Excellency, in about 80 junctions. Thereafter, in your trip to China, you also negotiated a fund, Your Excellency. We are going to have another 200 junctions on ITS system in Nairobi city. We will welcome you, Your Excellency, to come to the Chorus headquarters to see the pilot project, what it does, and what resources we are going to raise through enforcement, instant enforcement of traffic. We are in the tail end of negotiations and conversations with the private sector. We should be able, by the end of this year, to put in the most of the hotspots, which is actually the A8 road from Mombasa to Malaba, Your Excellency. We should be able to put speed cameras. I will be gazetting in another 1 week or so the task force that will work on the smart transport system, which will encompass the police, the judiciary, the county government, the national government departments, including NTSA, to work on the legal framework for that enforcement. And with that, Your Excellency, we hope that we will make even greater recommendations on the amendment of the Act. We are not just putting technology for enforcement, we are also putting technology not just for the roads, Your Excellency, but vehicular telematics. Vehicular telematics, you saw it, Your Excellency, in the demo here. And it's already being used by transport companies, by PSV companies. That technology is going to sort many problems in this country, especially in the education sector. We have agreed with my colleague in education that we will make sure that this becomes mandatory for all our schools, that they can be able to monitor all the buses as they travel across the country. I can speak on this subject, Your Excellency, because it's extremely very important for us. I gave a directive the other day that we need to move the markets from the roads. Your Excellency, this is a bottom-up government. You have prioritized markets across the country, and every county now has 2 or 3 markets. We were with you in the Ondiani, around the area where an accident occurred, and there's a market you launched there. We have a market, I'm sure, coming up near Kangemi here, Your Excellency. The serious accidents that have happened along the markets in the highways requires, again, a serious partnership with the county government so that we provide the markets off the road. We have promised under Kenya that we will make sure that we have access roads that people can drive to the market, because many Kenyans would like to purchase their goods while still inside the car. We'll make sure that they can drive through, Your Excellency, the way we have in other joints all over the world drive through, so that they can buy their goods and go. But their markets must move from the road, because Kangemi is a disaster in waiting if we are not going to be serious on this issue. Your Excellency, I'm passionate about this subject because it's about saving lives. And I believe that in this ministry, working together, enjoying the partnership based on the plan, I don't want to say more than that, because it's your responsibility today, Your Excellency, to help us launch this very important plan. We will come back to you, Your Excellency, again, as I said, under the summit. And then thereafter, we will have this plan. Hopes that we now have a comprehensive policy on road safety that we are going to develop and bring to the cabinet, Your Excellency, so that for the first time since 1963, this country will have the first comprehensive policy on road safety that mandates everybody. Road design now are being done independent of road safety. So we want now to do road designs integrating road safety, road markings, road designs providing for non-motorized transport. 42% of the people in Nairobi walk on foot, yet we have put more concentration on vehicles, Your Excellency, while less than 10% drive themselves to come to the city. The others use public transport system. So what are we going to do? Let's be like other cities in the world. Today in Nairobi, those people are walking, Your Excellency, because they cannot afford a car. They all dream that they can afford a car or public transport system. But in the other parts of the world, countries like Sweden and other places, including where Ambassador Narieta comes from, people are walking by choice. They prefer going to work despite having cars, despite all these kind of things. Your Excellency, again, we are going to make sure that this policy is going to have all these integrated together in a national policy. Without any further statements, Your Excellency, it is now my greatest honor, privilege to invite His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto to come and launch for us the plan. Let's put our hands together to welcome His Excellency the President. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's take our seats. Asanteni sana. I have been listening very carefully to all the statements that have been made, especially the very passionate statement made by Cabinet Secretary about this very important subject. And it speaks to the gravity of what we have to deal with, especially in the context of the losses to families, to the country on what happens in our roads. Transport systems play an indispensable role in economies, serving as critical networks for economic vibrancy, productivity, and competitiveness. With the continuous growth of our economy, the demand for road transport also rises, and indeed, over 90% of goods and services rely on road transport wholly or significantly. The bottom-up economic transformation agenda identifies infrastructure as the fundamental enabler of productivity and consequently the development of a dense network of good quality roads throughout the country is a priority. Safe roads and safe road use by all stakeholders are critical to maximizing the efficiency and other gains from our road network, although increased economic activity must inevitably result in higher usage of road network and pose a higher risk of accidents. Concerted action can keep the actual incidence of crashes and resultant injuries low. We have witnessed a higher frequency of road crashes in many parts of our country, and especially in our road network, leading to fatalities and serious injuries, besides other forms of loss and damage. The factors driving this concerning rise in these incidences are many, and often involve a combination of low road capacity, poor maintenance of both roads and vehicles, law enforcement of traffic rules, and reckless behavior by motorists, passengers, and pedestrians. Abuse of drugs and alcohol, unqualified drivers, low awareness of traffic rules, and lack of consideration for others all contribute to high-risk road behaviors which endanger perpetrators as well as innocent road users. There has been an appreciable increase in investment in the development of our road network, both in terms of coverage and quality. Even as we continue to extend the reach of our roads, we recognize the urgent need to take efficient action to radically enhance road safety and drastically reduce the frequency of road crashes, fatalities, and injuries. To succeed, such action cannot be unilateral. Rather, road safety must be understood to be the outcome of consistent collaboration between various actors in the public and private sector, civil society organizations, the media, development partners who are present here, actors in the whole of this space, and I have been privileged to listen to many people who have very positive contributions to make to tame this menace. In the public sector, our justice, law, and order agencies must coordinate the sustained, robust law enforcement by ensuring that offenders are detected, apprehended, prosecuted, punished swiftly and transparently. corruption is an enabler of impunity and a significant contributor to road carnage. We all know how the contribution of corruption aids overspeeding, reckless driving, drunk driving, and allows those who commit these crimes to escape because they can bribe their way through our system. Road users, especially the private sector transport operators, as well as the motoring community, also have a duty to comply with the Traffic Act and every road safety requirement without seeking shortcuts. Evading inspection, neglecting motor vehicle safety maintenance, reckless behavior on the road, and paying bribes to avoid accountability are serious forms of contributory misconduct which must be dealt with. The media and civil society also have a role to complement public and private sector efforts to provide training, education, and awareness with regard to responsible road behavior and promoting a safety culture based on consideration for the convenience and welfare of other people. We have been informed that we all know what needs to be done. We all know that the largest contributor to road carnage is overspeeding, reckless driving, drunken driving. The numbers have not been coming down. The numbers have been going up. Every year, the numbers are going up. Waziri and your team, the numbers have to come down. And the template on how the numbers should come down is known. It's practiced elsewhere. Impunity is keeping us from doing the right thing. Governor Sakaja has said that he has closed pubs and places where alcohol is sold at termini. I mean, there cannot be greater impunity than licensing alcohol to be sold at termini when we know that the people at the termini are drivers. But it's continuing. It's happening just before our eyes. And I want to promise you, Governor, as I have said before, you will never get a telephone call from me to tell you to do the popular thing. I will not do it. I will always call you to tell you to do the right thing. It may not be popular, but as long as it's the right thing, do it. The challenge we have, and that is why we haven't made as much progress as we should, and that is why we have not achieved our potential as a country, is that those of us who have the opportunity to lead, those of us who have been chosen as leaders, want to do convenient things, want to do popular things. And I will say this again. As leaders, we are elected to lead, to serve, and to make a difference in people's lives. We are not elected to be popular. If you want to continuously to be popular, don't be a leader. Be something else. There is an opportunity for you to be popular all the time, for people to clap to you to clap for you all the time. Be a comedian. That way, you don't have to struggle. People will continuously clap for you. People will continue to laugh at what you're saying, and people will continue. You will continue to be popular. But those of us who have an opportunity to lead, let us do the right thing. It may not necessarily be popular, but the right thing will get us to the right place. And we will never go wrong by doing the right thing. And therefore, As we launch this program and this action and this strategy, we must be focused on results. We must be focused on results. And the results will be the numbers to come down. The target, as was said by the chair, is to cut down by 50%. I will be looking out for the 50%. Everything in between, you have my support, you have the support of this administration to do it. But the people of Kenya will be focused on results. I too will be focused on results. And as Waziri has said, we have negotiated with friends, many friends who support us in development of our infrastructure. The ambassador of EU has said EU has been against us in developing our infrastructure, road infrastructure in Kenya. They are also willing to partner with us on matters road safety. I expect greater collaboration between the traffic department of the police and the NTSA. There has been some disconnect, sometimes competition between these two agencies. Mr. IG, Mr. DG, please, I expect greater collaboration so that we can see results coming down. I also expect greater participation by the public. All of us. Every road user, pedestrian, driver, passenger, private sector, traveling in public transport, our children, all of us must be conscious about the dangers that lurk behind road using. And therefore, it is my expectation that we will be the administration that will finally deal with this challenge. We have 20,000 people in hospital because of different kinds of accidents on the roads. We're spending a colossal amount of money trying to treat them and to take care of them. Families are losing breadwinners, children, mothers, fathers, relatives, and it is devastating. And therefore, the collaboration that is required, and I am very happy that we have members of parliament here. They have been doing a great job in making sure that they facilitate regulation, making of legislation, getting policies in line, and therefore, with the support of every arm of government, I am very confident that we will begin to see a reversal. I am looking forward, before the end of this year, that majority of our junctions, majority of our blind spots, majority of the areas that bring danger to road users will be on camera. We have discussed, we have talked about instant fines for a very long time. Waziri, please, instant fines, 90 days is too much time for you to wait. Let's do it so that we can get everybody behaving because they know somebody is watching them. It is therefore proper and fitting that we all demonstrate our commitment to road safety through concerted efforts, collaborations, and partnerships, as well as a sustained campaign to enhance infrastructure design, intensify awareness of campaigns and civic education, strengthen law enforcement, and support in the entrenchment of a national culture of safety and responsible road behavior. The launch of the National Road Safety Action Plan is a good starting point for our coordinated multi-sectoral endeavor to improve road safety in our entire road transport system. I expect government ministries, departments, and agencies to lead this effort through a multi-agency framework to steer the implementation of this plan and ensure that public sector provides a model for road safety. We all must recognize the importance of road safety and remain mindful of the fact that reckless behavior endangers both perpetrators and innocent third parties. Consequently, we must henceforth implement a zero-tolerance approach to negligence on our roads and enforce the traffic laws and regulations to their fullest extent in order to promote safety, order, and efficiency on our road transport system. The National Police Service shall ensure that there are no exceptions from compliance, regardless of whether you operate border, heavy commercial vehicles, school transport, or any other vehicle on our roads. The government is committed to support the implementation of the National Road Safety Action Plan by providing resources, addressing legal and regulatory gaps, enhancing the capacity of the National Police Service to enforce traffic laws, and investing in automation and digitization of law enforcement and traffic management, among other interventions. I take this opportunity to appreciate the considerable support we have received from development partners, including the World Bank, the European Union, and the African Development Bank. I also urge potential partners to come aboard and take part in this noble mission to keep our people safe on our roads. I also look forward to seeing other organizations, including institutions of higher learning, join this collaboration to strengthen the use of evidence-based strategies and conduct research into various dimensions of road safety and road use behavior. Road safety is a shared responsibility which requires the execution of an all-of-society strategy throughout the country on a sustainable basis. I urge all Kenyans to observe road safety and report violations as part of their civic duty under community policing. Do not travel in overloaded vehicles and use the earliest opportunity to make sure that you report speeding or recklessly driven vehicles. The police must collaborate with citizens and ensure that dangerously driven public service transport vehicles reimburse fares upon arrest. We are determined to transform Kenya's road transport system from sites of frequent carnage into an efficient network that drives productivity and competitiveness, because it is our intention to make sure that travelers reach their destinations and Kenyans travel safely in pursuit of opportunities to all places at all times. The collaboration that I see here from the Matatu Owners Association, those who are in the Association of Drivers, the ministry, and all actors, is a collaboration that will give us the opportunity to succeed, and not just succeed in a big way. So I look forward to 1 year from now, we will have another meeting. And in that 1 year from now, Kipchumba Murkomen, you better come and report to us that the numbers are coming down. Otherwise, you will be in a lot of trouble. The first National Safety Action Plan 2024-2028 is officially launched. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Let us all be upstanding, all of us. Your Excellency, we now request you to help us launch the plan on that side, and I request the CSCs to come join the President, Chairman, DG, Ambassador, PSs, IG, and the Governor as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to count down for His Excellency to press the button, and we observe what will be happening on that end. The strategic plan will be officially launched. At the count of 3, 2, 1, 0. Wapi makofi. The National Road Safety Action Plan 2024-2028. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. And now I request you to be back on stage, Your Excellency, to hand over the plan to a few stakeholders. We can be seated, the rest of us. Welcome back on stage, Your Excellency. Bwana CS, karibu pia upewe. We request now His Excellency to issue the plan to a few stakeholders, beginning with the CS Transport. Karibu sana, tumpigie makofi. Kwanza kabisa imeenda kwa ambassador wa EU. CS, karibu sana pia.
You can't control your numbers. So please, let's work together. It's not about policy. And I really want to ask the leadership of the Senate, Mr. Speaker, and Senator from Nairobi, please, we want that beautiful place to be there for generations. That people say when Senator Sifuna was a senator, is then when this park was opened, and many, many senators of Nairobi will come back. So let's all of us have a discussion on how to. We have many, many other places. These days, in fact, the trend is you use the tops of the vehicles. You don't need a podium. Very few politicians these days use a podium and sitting. It's a bit more costly. So these days you assemble the crowd and you use your vehicle. So mine is just to make sure that the good work the Minister of Defense and the whole team in Nairobi County have done, we don't want it to go to waste, Mr. Speaker. I think, Mr. Speaker, I have answered. And Senator Shakila, we are working with you. It's our mandate. It's our core duty. And we are waiting for some resources from the Ministry of Transport and Roads. We will. The way we have done the road, the cut line for the Boni Forest, we really want to make sure that all security roads and airstrips in our country, even during the El Nino, we realized our airstrips are in very bad shape, so we can't reach Kenya. So in every remote part of our country, we want to designate security roads to be built by the defense in collaboration with the Interior and the Ministry of Roads, and then we also improve on our airstrips so that we can do any operations. We can evacuate even citizens when they are marooned by floods. So we have that plan. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, the issue of the Uhuru Park that has been
Uhuru Gardens. Yes. Your Excellency, Uhuru Gardens is completely different from Uhuru Park and Central Park. We have completed about 85% of that Uhuru Gardens and Museum. We have completed the museum and the gallery of former First President. We have done the one for President Moi, President Kibaki, the military gallery. We have done the one on the history of Kenya. So we're about 85%. Now what we are doing is we have very soon dignitaries will now go to Uhuru Gardens and Museum to lay wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier, where we have documented the names, inscribed the names of the freedom fighters in our country. So very soon we will, in fact not soon, in fact now we are doing it. Dignitaries now will go to lay wreath at a military parade at the tomb of the unknown soldier. So we are now working with the National Museum, and I think in another 4 to 5 months, we shall open. We have agreed we will, as we build more galleries, let's open the ones that we have now. So Uhuru Gardens, and I really want the Speaker, with your permission, one day under your leadership, we are ready to take you around. It's good to see it than hearing. So if you ask us, we will arrange, and our team will take you around. So we're working with the National Museum on other stakeholders to make sure that we finish the final touches.
Lastly, Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, first I want to thank the CS for showing, that he's on top of his docket, because the way he replied is actually wonderful. That it seems that it's working, actually. Honorable Speaker, I wish to ask the CS, first and foremost, I want to thank him and his team. During the El Nino, actually, he really supported the delivering food and medicine to all the areas that have been submerged, and people have been rescued. And then I want to say thank you on behalf of Wajir people. Two, Honorable Speaker, I want to ask the CS, as you are aware, Honorable CS, that Wajir FOB camp is actually now in the middle of the municipalities. And you are privy to what happened in the last two, sometimes there were two incidents, actually, that was almost a disaster in waiting. But God forbid, nobody died because of the maneuvers that was ongoing in the camp. Now that, is there any plan? Wajir actually has ample land. It's having 56,000 square kilometers, which is sparsely populated. And there's no problem with that kind of land. And we're more than willing to give KDF other places, because now that the camp is in the middle of the town. So is there any plan to relocate the camp from Wajir town to other places of the county? Thank you.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
Mr. Speaker, I really want to thank Senator Abbas. Yes. And I don't think, Mr. Speaker, we have any intention to relocate from Wajir International Airport. Wajir International Airport, Mr. Speaker, to us is like Kipia Air Base. We have a lot of operations for our own internal here, and we also carry operations and logistics in our neighborhood in the war against terror. So Wajir, we work with even our partners, and we have now agreed that we will allow the good people of Wajir to access through, we're working with the Kenya Airport Authority, so that we give them a designated section where the Ministry of Interior and National Police Service will man the checks and everything. Now the people go through a lot of checks because they have to pass through our base. We have the Air Force FOB, and we have the other formations. And secondly, we are asking even our partners that the way we want to invest heavily in Manda Air Base, we also want more investment, ourselves and our partners, in Wajir International Airport. On the incident that happened, and I really want to apologize to the people of Wajir. It was not intentional. It was part of our training programs. And I want to assure the Senator that we sent an investigating team. They brought a report, and it will never happen again. And we want to thank the leadership of Wajir, the Member of Parliament, the Senator, the Governor, the Women Rep, for working very closely with us, not only in this incident, but in the whole spectrum of the security. And all the leaders from Lamu to Tana River, Garissa, Wajir, Mandera, Marsabit, they have been very, very valuable, working with both the Interior Ministry and the Kenya Defense Forces to make sure that all of us together, we have a responsibility to keep our country safe. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, that brings us to the end of this interaction session with the Honorable CS for Defense. Honorable CS, thank you so much for availing yourself for purpose of responding to questions directed to your ministry. You are now free to leave. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Honorable Senators, the next question is the question by the Senator for Kisumu, directed to the Ministry of Health. Clerk, can you usher in the Honorable CS in charge of health, please?
Okay, we now have the CS Health, Ministry of Health, to answer question number 009, which is asked by the Senator for Kisumu County. So, Madam CS, welcome to the Senate, and thank you for availing yourself to come and interact with the Senate on this question and other supplementary questions that maybe might arise in the course of the discussion. So I'll ask the Senator for Kisumu County to ask his question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The question number 009 that goes to the CS Health is framed in three parts. The first part, Mr. Speaker, sir, is could the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Health confirm that there is widespread medical insurance fraud perpetrated by healthcare facilities in Kenya, particularly within the private health sector, through practices such as unnecessary medical tests, scans, and incorrect diagnosis aimed at unfairly generating revenue for the facilities. The second part, Mr. Speaker, sir, is, has the government conducted an inquiry into this matter, and if so, could the Cabinet Secretary Health table the report on its findings? Lastly, what measures has the government put in place to ensure accountability by healthcare facilities and to provide compensation to victims of medical insurance fraud? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Madam CS, kindly answer the question.
Thank you very much, Speaker and honorable senators. It is always a pleasure to come to the Senate to appraise the Senate on matters in the Ministry of Health, and I'm happy to respond to this question that has been raised by the honorable Senator of Kisumu, Professor Ojenda. And honorable Speaker, I would like to request that after I respond to the question raised by Professor Ojenda, if you may allow me to also appraise the House on the ongoing crisis that we have at the Ministry of Health.
The Honorable CS, I'll give guidance that you first answer the question, and then I'll give you an opportunity understanding under 51C, 6C. To give that statement. So first we dispense off the question by Senator Ojenda, avoiding the matter of the strike so that we can give the CS that opportunity. And then after the statement that she has, I will open to the senators maybe to ask a few questions on that particular matter. So proceed, Madam CS.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and members. The question was for I to confirm that there is widespread medical insurance fraud that is perpetrated by health facilities in Kenya, and particularly within the private health sector, through practices such as unnecessary medical tests, scans, incorrect diagnosis, aimed at unfairly generating revenue for the facilities. Honorable Speaker and members, the issue of medical insurance fraud committed by health facilities in Kenya, including the private sector, is indeed a serious concern that has received attention from the Ministry of Health, regulatory authorities, and enforcement agencies. There have been reported cases of facilities engaging in fraudulent practices to unfairly generate revenue, such as impersonations, raising fake claims for patients who never received any service, ordering unnecessary tests or procedures, providing incorrect diagnosis, and inflating bills submitted to insurance providers. These fraudulent activities not only harm patients by subjecting them to unnecessary medical interventions, but also lead to financial losses for insurance companies and undermine the integrity of the healthcare system. Consequently, the Ministry of Health, the National Health Insurance Fund, and the Kenya Medical Practitioner and Dentist Council have taken action to address these issues, including suspending facilities found guilty of engaging in fraudulent practices. Currently, the prevalence of medical fraud as per external actuarial analysis, stands at 20%. It is important for stakeholders, including insurance providers, regulatory bodies, investigative bodies, and law enforcement agencies, to collaborate in identifying investigating bodies and law enforcement agencies to collaborate and identify investigating and prosecuting individuals and facilities involved in insurance fraud. By enforcing strict regulations, conducting thorough audits, and promoting transparency and accountability in healthcare delivery, we can collectively work towards combating fraudulent activities and safeguarding the interests of patients and insurance beneficiaries. The second question, has the government conducted an inquiry into this matter? And if so, could the Cabinet Secretary table the report of its findings? I wish to respond as follows, Honorable Speaker and members. I want to confirm that the Ministry of Health, the National Health Insurance Fund, and the Kenya Medical Practitioner and Dentist Council have been actively addressing cases of medical fraud within the healthcare sector. Through joint efforts and investigations, several facilities have been identified and subsequently suspended for engaging in fraudulent activities that compromise patient care and violate ethical standards. I would like to note that authorities have indeed taken steps to investigate and address instances of medical insurance fraud. Efforts have been made to scrutinize the practices of healthcare facilities, assess compliance with regulations, and hold to account those found to be involved in fraudulent schemes that are detrimental to both patients and insurance providers. There are ongoing investigations by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, involving 10 healthcare providers currently suspended by the National Hospital Insurance Fund Board. I have annexed the list on my response. As we collectively strive to uphold the integrity of the healthcare system and protect the welfare of patients and insurance beneficiaries, I encourage continued collaboration among stakeholders, effective enforcement of regulations, and clear communication to promote trust and accountability in healthcare delivery. Question 3, what measures has the government put in place to ensure accountability by healthcare facilities and to provide compensation to the victims of medical insurance fraud? Speaker and honorable members, the government of Kenya has implemented and is working on various measures to enhance accountability and combat medical fraud within healthcare facilities. Some of the efforts that the government has put in place is health facility census, and this we did last year in August. The government conducted a comprehensive census of health facilities to create a database that facilitates the monitoring and regulation of healthcare services. This initiative aims to identify and verify facilities to ensure compliance with standards and detect any unauthorized fraudulent practices. The second step or measure that we have taken is repealing of the National Health Insurance Act of 1998. The decision to repeal the Act and the enactment of the Social Health Insurance Act 2023 is a strategic move by the government to strengthen regulatory frameworks and enhance oversight mechanisms within the healthcare sector. By enhancing the Social Health Insurance Act, the government will introduce updated provisions that safeguard against fraudulent activities, improve transparency, and enforce accountability measures for healthcare facilities and providers. Honorable Speaker and members, I would like to thank you because this House participated in enactment of those laws during the process. The ministry really appreciates the Senate for the effort that they put in. Honorable Speaker and members, we have also we are in the process of procurement of a smart digital system. The government is in the process of acquiring a smart digital system designed to combat fraud activities. This signifies a proactive approach to addressing malpractices in healthcare delivery. The sophisticated digital system will streamline data management, facilitate real-time monitoring of healthcare transactions, and employ advanced analytics to detect anomalies or irregularities that may indicate fraudulent behavior. The system will be integrated with approved clinical guidelines to ensure patient management is standardized. Fourth is enhanced monitoring and enforcement. The government has intensified efforts to monitor healthcare facilities and enforce compliance with regulations. Enhancement of oversight through frequent inspections, audits, and performance of evaluations is going to enable regulatory bodies and the Social Health Authority to hold facilities accountable for adherence to ethical standards, quality care, financial, and transparency, thereby reducing the likelihood of fraudulent activities. Fifth, creating public awareness and reporting mechanism. The government is also focused on raising public awareness about medical fraud and encouraging individuals to report any suspicious experiences of fraudulent practices in healthcare facilities. This will be done by promoting transparency, accountability, whistleblower protection, and the government will empower the public to play an active role in combating fraud and ensuring accountability within the health sector. Regarding compensation of victims of medical fraud, the Ministry of Health and its agencies are not expected to compensate any victims of medical insurance fraud. However, the Insurance Regulatory Authority may provide more detail if there have been compensations of victims of medical insurance fraud. Honorable Speaker and members, I submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable CS. Professor Jenda, do you have any supplementary question? You have an opportunity to ask it too, but if you don't have, you are satisfied, good enough.
Honorable Speaker, I think given the response to the questions that are satisfactory, or I'm satisfied with the responses. The only follow-up question, Mr. Speaker, sir, would be for the CS to explain to the House the intended processes that underline the implementation of the Social Health Insurance Act, and whether the frameworks, everything has been put into place to ensure that the repeal of the NHIF Act 1998 will not affect Kenyan population. Let me put it that way. Will not affect those who are beneficiaries of the framework of the processes under the Act.
Honorable CS, you can answer that one.
Thank you, Speaker and honorable members. Yes, indeed, the ministry has a process for implementing the Social Health Insurance Act. And for our starters, the ministry did gazette a transitional committee that has experts to ensure seamless transition from NHIF to Social Health Authority. The committee has been sitting for the last 3 months. It has developed a roadmap on what needs to be done in terms of implementation. Additionally, the ministry worked on regulations for operationalizing the Social Health Insurance Act. And indeed, the regulations were already approved and gazetted. So we are in the process of finalizing with the transitional committee to ensure that all matters are taken care of. And I want to assure the House that one thing that the transitional committee is ensuring is that the Kenyan should not actually notice that there has been a change from NHIF to Social Health Authority. The services that are being provided will continue to the time that then Social Health Authority takes over from NHIF. And some of the things that they are doing is auditing of the existing assets and liabilities so that they are taken over by the Social Health Authority. So, Speaker and honorable members, I want to confirm that we have a process that is ongoing. We have a roadmap. The transitional committee is working. As a minister, I meet with them after every 2 weeks so that I get appraised of the process. And our intention and our plan is that from the 1st of July, then we shall have completely moved to Social Health Authority. Thank you, Honorable Speaker and members.
Thank you. As I guided honorable senators, we stick to this particular question. not touching on the strike so that I will give the CS opportunity to operate the Senate and the country. So if you have a different angle, then I can give Senator Muma Muyeka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Welcome, Madam CS Nahumicha, to the Senate. Now, my question is related to the repeal of the NHIF Act. You have explained the good intentions and the plans you have in place to have a smooth transition to the new system. I wanted to ask whether you are aware that many Kenyans are still paying NHIF but not receiving services. We have many Kenyans whose NHIF cards are not being honored in many hospitals and they are actually stranded. Are you aware of that, and what are you doing about that?
Honorable CS.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and Senator Muma. Yes, I am aware that Kenyans are still paying NHIF, and that is the way it is intended to be, that payments continue to be made and ensure access to services. Speaker and honorable members, I would like to take responsibility that for sure there has been disruption of services, but not stoppage of services. And the disruption of services is because of the unpaid claims by NHIF to health facilities. And this has been occasioned by a delay of exchequer release to NHIF. But I want to confirm that NHIF and together with the ministry, we have been having engagements with most of the facilities which are around the faith-based facilities. We've had a meeting with them. The rural health providers, we have had a meeting with them. The private providers, we have had a meeting with them and given a commitment that they should continue to provide services because the claims will be honored. Speaker and honorable members, I would like to inform the House that it is really natural that most of the facilities, due to the transition, then they would be a little bit not sure whether their claims are going to be paid or not. And some are taking that drastic action of not providing services. But as a ministry, we are continuing to engage them. And as I said earlier, one of the things that the Transitional Committee is doing is to verify the claims, to verify the assets and liabilities of NHIF. So, Speaker and honorable members, I want to assure facilities that there is no cause of alarm. They do not need to disrupt facilities. That once they have provided services, their claims have been verified and reconciled, they are going to be paid once resources are available. I submit, Speaker and honorable members.
Thank you. Senator Chute Mohamed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Mine is not something like a question, but I wanted to express my gratitude towards the CS. And I want to take this opportunity to thank the CS and the team, specifically the Director General, on the support they've given us during and the time we had sponsors from Lord Mahavir Swami followers and Giant Group Twiga on prosthetic limbs provided by Narayan Seva Center based in Udaipur, India. Honorable Speaker, we had camps in April and September 2023. We had another camp in January 2024, and the next one will be held in June 2024. Honorable Speaker, so far, to date, over 2,500 persons have benefited from the limbs that were provided by the organization. The camps are in Nairobi, in Meru, Honorable Speaker, your county, and also Mombasa, Kisumu, and Kisii. This year, The organization intends.
Senator Chute, what is your question?
Yeah, I'm
Because I
trying.
can hear you are leading a statement.
Honorable
to
Speaker,
appreciate the ministry.
Yes, I'm trying to.
What is your question?
I want the people of Kenya to know that we appreciate what the CS is doing, and this organization also.
No, ask you a question.
Excuse me. Can you protect me from this guy, Speaker? The Speaker is asking a question.
On the members.
So,
on the members.
And Mr. Speaker, this is
you have an opportunity to us to do that statement even later. It's kind of because of time. Just ask the question and then.
Honorable Speaker, as I finish, I want Kenyans to know that what the Cabinet Secretary and our team are doing, and this is very important for me and most of the Kenyans. And also, Honorable Speaker, I hope and believe that the CS is capable of solving the dispute between the doctors and her ministry. And thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Asante sana.
I give you some good guidance, and now you are still diverting from my advice. So let us. There was no question at all. So let us have Senator Onyonka, Richard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, I would like to say that CS Nakumicha is somebody I've known in my previous life, and I'm happy to see her here. The question, Madam CS, that I'm asking you is this. The NHIF Act has been repealed. You have several health facilities and health centers all over the country. Some of them who have not been paid for the last 5 years. Some of them have not been paid for the last 3 or whatever number of years. And what many of these Kenyans are asking is whether you have done an audit. And this audit is meant to give you the list of the outfits or health facilities or companies that have been providing these health services to our people. And if so, is it possible for you, for the simple purpose of accountability and transparency, to give the list within the regions where these companies come from, so that by the time you are transitioning to the Social Health Authority and you are transitioning with the healthcare fund, my suggestion, Mr. Speaker, is that this would make it easy for these Kenyans, many of them who are complaining and saying how they've never been paid and their things are being taken by auctioneers, and many of them have actually been disenfranchised. I hope the CS will be able to look at it and give us an answer on that.
Okay, just let me get 2 more, then the CS can respond. What is your point of order, Senator for Kiambu County, Karungo?
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. I am rising on a point of order 51C, 6C, that you had indicated that you might give the CS permission to give a statement on whatever is going. Some of us, we do have questions to ask that. So my question is, or seeking your indulgence, you probably give the CS this particular moment to give a statement. Probably the questions that we want to ask are in that statement.
I give a very clear guidance to Senator Karungo Dango that I wanted to give a few senators to ask supplementary questions on the subject matter on this question. And then I'll give the CS an opportunity still now to make a statement. I don't know whether you are the one who is in a hurry or the CS or myself, and I'm not. Okay, Senator Mandago Jackson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'd like to ask a supplementary question to the Cabinet Secretary in regard to reimbursements of NHIF, particularly to public facilities. And in this question, Honorable Speaker, as a community, we visited Mbagathi Hospital, and the defunct NHIF owes them a lot of money and they are unable to deliver service. The other critical facility is the Nairobi Funeral Home that has a generator that has not been working for 2 years. Reimbursements from NHIF, Honorable Speaker, would have sorted, including Isiolo's process. So we would like to know, in the transition period process, what is the department doing to make sure that the payments are being made? And what is the ministry itself as a mother ministry doing to pay the debts they owe to the defunct NHIF, including State Department of Public Service, for wiper amounting to millions of money to make sure that those debts are paid before the process, the new process begins. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, Madam CS, as you answer that, that is a question which was asked by another member. So it is, and Honorable Senators, this is a very core question that is in the reach of many senators. So maybe you give a comprehensive answer to that so that we don't repeat again, Madam CS. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. On the question that was asked by Senator Onyonka about the repealing of NHIF Act, I think it is now clear that we are in the transition phase. And yes, as a ministry, we acknowledge that there are claims dating back to 5 years, 3 years, and even others that are longer than the 5 years. What we have done as a ministry, and that is one of the reasons that the act was, the new act was put in place. One, we have claims that looked ridiculous. We have claims that on face value would not be validated. And from the research that we did, we have claims that actually point to the first issue that I responded to of fraud in medical insurance. So what we have done, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, is that the Transitional Committee, one of the TORs, terms of reference that they have, is to do a proper reconciliation of the claims. They have a subcommittee where we have received experts from Treasury. We have received a representative from the Office of Auditor General to be able to verify those claims so that they can be paid. And I want to assure the House that once the Transitional Committee has confirmed that a claim is legitimate for payment, it shall be taken over by the Social Health Authority. I also want to confirm that there is a special committee, National Audit Committee, that was put in place by His Excellency the President, and it is supposed to be looking into all pending bills. So there are some huge bills that then will be moved to the Special Audit Committee, chaired by the former Auditor General, Mr. Ouko, to look into the long outstanding pending bills. Some of those will be verified there. But I want to assure the House that these claims, so long as verified, reconciled, they will be taken over by SHA. Having said that, I also want to confirm that payment of claims is a continuous exercise. So NHIF has been continuing to pay those claims that have been reconciled and verified. In the last year, a total of 36 billion was paid out to claims. The second question about reimbursement of claims to public facilities that has been asked by Senator Mandago of Uasin Gishu, who is also the chair of the Health Committee in the Senate, is that indeed it is true that there are many outstanding claims that are yet to be paid to public facilities. And these outstanding claims are not unique just to the public facilities. We even have faith-based facilities that have outstanding claims. We have private facilities that have outstanding claims. And as a ministry, this is a matter that we have brought to the Cabinet's attention because we see it standing in our way as a risk in the transition. And following the bringing of this matter to the Cabinet, a discussion was held last week between my ministry, the Ministry of Treasury, chaired by His Excellency the President, and Treasury was asked to look for resources for us to start paying claims. And I want to confirm that yesterday, my Principal Secretary in charge of medical services did receive information from Treasury that they are actually looking for 5.5 billion to be released to the ministry to start paying the outstanding claims. Thank you, Chair and honorable members.
Senator Oburu Oginga, we are going to the statement at quarter to noon.
Thank
two more senators, then we go to the statement from the CS on the pending strike.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I take this opportunity to welcome the CS for health for coming to the Senate. Mr. Speaker, I hope in her statement she's going to tell us something about the strike of the doctors. But, Mr. Speaker, my question is on the card, the defunct or the outgoing NHIF cards. Mr. Speaker, these cards, when issued to beneficiaries, they are asked to specify the clinics and the hospitals where they wish to be treated. And Mr. Speaker, you specify 2. And when you specify 2, and supposing you are a civil servant, say a police officer, you are posted to Nairobi, your family is in the rural areas there, you have specified the hospital where they go. When you are in Nairobi here, you are only allowed to specify 2. So you specify those 2 are dispensary and a hospital where your family goes. Mr. Speaker, it is very, very inconvenient. I hope that the new system is going to address that so that the cards allow you to access facilities of certain class or standard, and you can go anywhere in the country and access those facilities.
That's
you don't
okay.
have to specify only 2.
That's okay.
Mr. Speaker, I hope that is going to be addressed.
To the CS. You can she will respond after I give Senator Omar Sheikh Maliam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, my question goes to CS. It's about Edio Afia Medical. Mr. Speaker, that is under Ministry of Education, which contracted NHIF to offer medical to students. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to ask the CS, what is your intervention on this termination of the contract? Because most of the kids, there are many kids who are stuck in abroad for medical treatment. So as a Minister of Health, what is your intervention on that?
Senator Sifuna, your own intervention. You have a point of order, or maybe you are queuing to contribute to another matter?
I had a supplementary question, Speaker.
On HIF?
On NHIF, yes.
Kindly do within, you shoot it straight within 1 minute, maybe then she can answer.
I will do so. Mr. Speaker, I want to discourage the Cabinet Secretary from conflating and including other things in her answer to specific questions. The question by Senator Mandago was specific to money that is owed to public institutions. So in her answer, when she goes around and includes religious institutions and so on and so forth, I think she's conflating issues. We want her to tell us, in Nairobi, the public...
The same question you're asking now.
That's the question, Speaker.
Okay,
the public institutions in Nairobi, our level 4 hospitals in Nairobi, the 4 of them, Mr. Speaker, are owed a cumulative 700 million shillings between Linda Mama and NHIF. What she needs to tell us, because these are not covered by the questions of fraud that she spoke about in the private institutions. She needs to tell us, when will NHIF be paying the public institutions, including the 4 level 4s in Nairobi? When will she be paying? Don't tell us about the religious institutions.
Sorry, Senator Sifuna. And the CSA, they have now 5 billion on the way to pay these bills.
Yeah, but that's a story.
Because I don't want us to continue.
That's a story, Honorable Speaker, that included other institutions that have to go through the vetting process, verification process that she spoke about.
Senator Sifuna, let's assure the Nairobi will be covered.
Speaker, why don't you allow the answer to come from the witness, Mr. Chair? Because you are not the Minister for Health.
Senator Sifuna. Senator Sifuna, you know you cannot have 2 speakers at the same time. You know that. Why is she standing? No, you cannot direct your questions to the CS. You know, nobody, especially in this house, you should just abide by the laws of the debate. Understanding on us, Senator Sifuna, with a lot of respect. Madam CS. answer the 3 questions, Madam CS. Time is not with us.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members. I would like to respond to the question asked by Senator Oburu regarding the NHIF card. And indeed, it is true that the current NHIF card limited members and required them to choose specific facilities where they will be attended to. And that is one of the flaws that we took into consideration in coming up with the Social Health Authority Act. And under the Social Health Authority, this is no longer a requirement. A member is not required to choose a facility. Further, we have gone ahead to do digitization of health services and health facilities. We are ensuring that all health facilities are integrated, and this allows for portability of patient data for ease of referral. That should a Kenyan wish to seek services from any health facility within the borders of the country, then they will find their data available in that health facility that they wish to be attended to. Furthermore, we have put facilities into a primary care network, and this is to ensure that then services and proper referral of services is done, that a Kenyan can move from one level of service to the other one without limitation. Speaker and the honorable members, on the issue of Edu-Afya, I want to confirm that under the current Social Health Act, the ministry has provided a base cover, and this base cover is comprehensive with a benefit package that covers everyone. We all have to agree that Edu-Afya was specific to students. These students come from families. These students have parents, have guardians. So under the Edu-Afya, all these people are being covered. That it did not make sense to have one small cover just covering the student. We needed to have the parent, we needed to have the guardian covered. And that is why under the Social Health Authority, the cover is for the whole family. It does not discriminate and say, this is for a student, this is for Linda Mama. No, the cover is for Mama, the cover is for the student, the cover is for Baba, the cover is for the whole Jamii. On the third question, which Honorable Sifuna has asked regarding the payment for Nairobi County. Speaker and honorable members, I would like to confirm that as a ministry, it concerns us about all health facilities, public facilities, faith-based facilities, private facilities. All these have to be paid by NHIF. And I want to confirm, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, that NHIF has a process of payment. And the process of payment does not exclude other facilities depending on where it belongs. It is a process that, one, requires that the claim is verified. Whether the claim is from a public facility, a private facility, or faith-based facility, it has to be verified. Once verified and reconciled, then it goes to payment. So I also want to confirm that, as I had indicated earlier, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, we have had a delay of exchequer. That has given rise to the many huge bills that are being experienced across the country. And I have gone ahead to confirm that indeed we have received confirmation from Treasury that resources are going to be released this week for payment of claims. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I submit. Thank you.
Senator Mwinyi Haji Mohamed.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Langu ni kumuuliza waziri kwamba kuna malumbukizi ya malipo kwa zahanati na vituo vya afya ambayo yameendelea kwa muda mrefu. Na majibu yake Mheshimiwa Spika hayajaridhisha kwa sababu hajasema pesa zinazodaiwa ni ngapi na zitalipwa vipi. Kwa sababu tumeona wakati NHIF ilipokuwa inafanya kazi, malipo yalikuwa hayaendi. Na sasa tunatoka kwa NHIF tunakwenda kwa shirika jipya. Tunataka ueleze bunge hili ni mipango gani ambayo umepanga, madeni kwanza ni pesa ngapi, na pili una mipango gani ya kulipa madeni hayo? Kwa sababu ukisema tu kwamba yatalipwa, hiyo ni mambo ambayo ni alifu ulela, Mheshimiwa Spika. Asante.
Senator Oloba Magoma Gloria.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is with regards to the government program of Linda Mama. I know that Waziri has clarified that there's a cover that takes care of the whole family. However, under Linda Mama, which was a program initiated under NHIF, issues on maternal health care were actually specified. For instance, complications after birth and things like that. This new cover that you're saying is the alternative of Linda Mama, does it still cater for the specific maternal health care issues that were being taken care of under Linda Mama? As well, if you could also clarify, the Kenya Kwanza government came in we signed a Women Charter. And under the Women Charter, we had promised that we will be giving all mothers who have just given birth, that we would give them free sanitary towels, and would also give them 3 months or 6, I'm not quite sure, but I think it's 3 months worth of diapers, free diapers, disposable diapers to their children. This particular issue, which is supposed to be covered as well, I would have thought under Linda Mama, it seems to have disappeared somewhere. Could we get a clarification on that as well? Thank you.
Senator Sosi, and then she'll answer those three, and then we'll go to the statement direct.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, mine is in relation to the third part of the question. It talks about accountability by the health facilities. While I appreciate the response by the Cabinet Secretary, we'd like to know the list of the health facilities which have been suspended or terminated under NHIF and the reasons of the same. I'm asking this, Mr. Speaker, because I have been made aware that there could have been some discrimination in this process and some unfair practices. And I have a specific case that has been brought to me by my constituent of a hospital by the name Meswo Medical Services, NHIF code number 00131152, where the audit was done in April 2022, and the results of audit indicated that there was no problem. But only a few months later, this hospital has been suspended from NHIF. And this is a big investment, Mr. Speaker, over 86-bed level 4 facility owned by my constituent in Kapsabet town. And the complainant says there is no issue. It's just a matter of unfair practices that was applied to her hospital. Can the CS explain this scenario and respond to the issues that there may have been some unfair practices in suspending some of the facilities from NHIF, particularly
Madam
this one?
And honorable senators, you know, when you ask a specific question for that, in that manner, Senator Sosi, maybe if the CS has no particular answer now, you can also maybe raise a statement which can really support your argument, which can go to the committee for investigations. But she'll answer all the questions asked, and then we'll go to the statement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. On the question raised by Senator Haji, Faki, sorry, my apologies, regarding the payment of claims. I want to confirm that the ministry is seized of the figures. The total money owed to NHIF is 30 billion. And out of this 30 billion, Senator, 22 billion is from government institutions. And that is why I stand here confidently saying that, having had the discussion chaired by His Excellency the President, the Ministry of Treasury, and Ministry of Health, there is a plan for release of resources, which I have confirmed that we are going to receive this week. The PS actually got confirmation yesterday of the 8.5 billion. And this money is going to be put to prudent use of payment of claims. On the second question from Senator Gloria regarding Linda Mama, as I had responded earlier, that we had Linda Mama, yes. But for the benefit of the understanding of honorable members, Linda Mama was taking care of antenatal, taking care of delivery, and postnatal for only 2 visits after delivery. But what we now have under the Social Health Authority is to take care not just for the antenatal and delivery and postnatal, but is to take care of the family even after that. We all know, Honorable Speaker and members, that the people who end up in hospital most are children under 5. So you can imagine Linda Mama was only paying up to 2 visits after delivery. But now under the Social Health Authority, these people are going to be taken care of. And I also want to clarify, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, that where a family, where an individual does not have capacity to pay, where an individual is vulnerable, the government has committed to pay for insurance for these individuals. Then the rest of Kenyans who have capacity to pay will pay according to their level of income. On the question of Senator Osotsi regarding the list of health facilities, I would like to respond that in my response earlier that has been provided, we have provided an annexed list of the facilities that has been suspended. But also to confirm that audit is a continuous exercise. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, audit is based on a specific criteria. So I doubt that it will go out looking for an individual. But I would like to pick out on the facility that Honorable Osotsi has given and ask my team so that we go and specifically look at that facility to verify what were the issues under that facility, and we shall be able to provide a response to Honorable Osotsi. I submit, Speaker and honorable members. On the issue of pads and diapers, I want to agree, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, that as a mother, I want to confirm that those two are very, very important. But as it is now, we do not have resources in the budget for those facilities. But we are going to push for them, for provision of them. Should there be resources, I want to agree that those are items that should actually be provided. But I also want to confirm that I know that pads are being provided by the Ministry of Gender. So with the diapers, that is something that we can pick up with the ministry and try and get resources to avail them. I submit, Chair.
Senator Homal Sheikh, you want another clarification because your question you feel was not answered adequately. And the Chairman Health, just wait a bit.
Mr. Speaker, my question is about those kids who are stuck in abroad. Because I know social health care will take care of all household, yes. But the contract of EDU was terminated 1st of December 2023. Since then, up to date, which is social health care is not inactive, not yet. So what is the process? What is the intervention now for the students who are stuck in abroad, and there are some also who are using the same scheme for the treatment here in Kenya?
Okay, Senator Mandago, 1 minute.
Honorable Speaker, you know this is a house of record. In the first response, the Cabinet Secretary indicated that they were expecting 5.5 billion from National Treasury. In our second response, she has indicated 8.5 billion. So which is the figure we are expecting to be released from National Treasury so that we have the correct on record, Honorable Speaker?
Senator Wambua, less than 60 seconds.
Speaker, I don't know why that applies to me and not to other people, but that's fine, Mr. Speaker. The question that Senator Gloria asked was a very important question. It's actually a manifesto question. A government in office on the basis of a specific pledge to the women of this country. Now, the minister on the floor of the Senate has said that perhaps the government has moved on or away from that pledge. Is it the position that then that pledge that was made to the women of Kenya, the government has moved away from that pledge, and now they can wait for pads and other things from other sources? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Madam CS.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members. On the question raised by Senator Omar regarding the students who are stranded, I first of all want to confirm, Honorable Speaker and members, that indeed the ministry did give notification to the Ministry of Education that this particular EduAfia was going to come to an end. The Ministry of Education was supposed to inform its members of the end date of the EduAfia. And the reason why there was an end date, it was actually end of a contract. So it is expected that then the Ministry of Education should have made alternative arrangements. I have had a meeting with my colleague Cabinet Secretary for Education, and we said, should they need the service to be covered for those who are still in India, then they need to write to the ministry so that they give an undertaking of payment of the premium, so that then that can be covered. So far, we have not received a letter of extension from the Ministry of Education. We have not received an undertaking for National Health Insurance Fund to be able to take care of those bills. On the clarity raised by Senator Mandago, I want to acknowledge that yes, I did speak about 5.5 and I have also talked about 8.5 billion. I want to clarify as follows. 5.5 billion is going to come from National Treasury. 3 billion is going to come from NHIF from its reserves. So total, we are going to have 8.5 billion shillings to take care of payment of claims. On the last question and concern from Senator Wambua, I would like to confirm the Kenya Kwanza government has not moved away from its manifesto. Implementation of a manifesto is a continuous exercise. This government is in office for the next 5 years, so we have a plan on implementation of the Kenya Kwanza plan. I submit, Chair and honorable members.
Okay, thank you. Now, honorable senators, we are now order senators, Senator Gloria, order members, order senators, Senator Chalage, you're out of order. So, and standing on the 51C, 6C, I want to give the Honorable CS this opportunity to issue a statement on the strike, the doctor strike. So you have this opportunity, Madam CS, and Honorable Senators will have an opportunity still to issue or to ask any clarifications after she's done with the statement. Senator Veronica?
I would request you give us a guidance as to whether we are getting a chance to still ask the important questions.
Yes, you'll ask. You have no problem with
regarding the question she has been answering.
Yeah, so because also senators want to ask the issue on the strike.
Yes.
we are open that you can still ask on HIF, NHIF, so there is no problem.
Most, thank you.
So, Honorable CS.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. We are all aware of the ongoing crisis in the country. On the 6th of March, 2024, the Kenya Medical Practitioner and Dentist Union issued a 7-day strike notice of intended industrial action, citing failure of both the national and county governments in implementing the 2017 CBA. The union raised 19 issues in their notice. We did have a meeting as a ministry with the union to forestall the strike. However, what we agreed on, the union did not feel like it was adequate, and they proceeded and commenced on the strike on the 13th of March 2024. Following that notice, the Kenyatta National Hospital moved to court seeking stay orders against the industrial action to prevent interruption of services in health facilities, an interruption which would endanger the lives, safety, and health of Kenyans. The Employment and Labor Relations Court on the 15th of March 2024 ordered that a whole-of-nation approach be instituted towards resolving the instant long-running dispute in Kenya's health sector and for the purpose of achieving a sustainable solution. The ongoing negotiation and conciliation to incorporate the head of public service, the Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury, the Cabinet Secretary for Public Service, the Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Social Protection, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, the Public Service Commission, the Council of Governors, each of the 47 county governors, the Kenya Federation of Employers, and the Central Organization of Trade Unionists, and all National Referral Hospital, and all the parties to the suit, and the negotiation and conciliations to seek to comprehensively address all grievances leading to the strike. As part of its mandate, the Whole of Nation Committee has reviewed all the 19 issues raised in the Notice of Industrial Action and classified them into priority areas. 6 of the issues that were raised were classified to relate to the national government, while 9 of the issues were classified to relate to the county government. 4 issues fell under concurrent mandates of both the 2 levels of government. Equally, as that process was going on, the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers on 25th of March 2024 issued a strike notice citing 10 demands. The ministry went ahead to have a meeting with the Union of Clinical Officers with the intention to forestall the strike. And of the 10 demands from the Union of Clinical Officers, they narrowed down to 2 main demands. And that is failure of both levels of government to obey a court order that directed the government to finalize a CBA with KUKO and register the CBA in court. The second main demand was failure to enhance the risk allowance paid to clinical officers. The union wants the risk allowance to be increased from the current 3,000 to 15,000 shillings per month. And this will apply to all the clinical officers within the country. I would like to clarify that of the 14,000 clinical officers in the country, only 158 are in the purview of the national government. In the same breath, on the 26th March 2024, the Kenya Union of Medical Laboratory Officers issued a strike notice citing failure by the government to formulate and sign a recognition agreement with the union. The second issue is failure by government to confirm to permanent and pensionable all UHC staff, COVID-19 employees, UHC interns, and National TB and Lung Disease Program Fund employees. The other demands that were raised were all discussed by the Minister of Health in a meeting with them. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, the industrial action has had significant impact on healthcare services. This has resulted in unavailability and delayed in health services delivery amongst the Kenyans. It has compromised the quality of care and equally disrupted the referral system. This impact has the potential to contribute to catastrophic health expenditures and adverse health outcomes for the population. Ultimately, the country stands to lose gains made in key health indicators, including maternal health, HIV, TB, malaria, and NCDs. From our checks, referral facilities, specialized outpatient services are significantly affected at 33%, and 25% reduction in specialist and outpatient services. So what has the ministry done in terms of the crisis that is here? I want to confirm that the ministry has categorized this into 3 issues: short-term measures, which we are already working on it, medium-term measures, and long-term measures. In the short-term measures, the ministry has already posted interns in lines with the SRC advisory. 1,270 diploma clinical officer interns have already been posted, and they have reported in their areas of posting. Posting letters for 1,210 medical officers, pharmacists, and dental officer interns have been sent to the respective interns, and their names have been published in the newspaper to inform them of their places of posting, and it is expected that then they start reporting from the 15th of March, which is 2 days ago. The next cadre of interns, that is the nursing officer degree and clinical officer degree, their posting letters are ready, and as we speak, a number have started picking them. The ministry has also requested for 267 million for payment of postgraduate registrars' fees arrears, which was an issue raised by the KMPDU and falls under the purview of the national government. I want to confirm that the ministry has received confirmation from National Treasury of release of 200 million towards payment of the postgraduate registrar fee arrears. The ministry has also requested SRC to advise on the demand by the Clinical Officers Union to have the risk allowance increase. We understand that this is going to have an impact on the overall budget, and that is why we have requested SRC to give guidelines. Once SRC gives the guidelines, then the ministry will be in a position to work towards implementation. The ministry has also requested Public Service Commission to review the clinical officers' career progression guidelines so that this can be communicated to them. On the medical laboratory officers, the ministry has already written to the medical laboratory officers informing them of the criteria required for them to be recognized as a union. So we expect that once the medical laboratory officers have met the requirements of a union, then the ministry will go ahead to work towards the recognition agreement that they are pursuing. Under the midterm measures, the Ministry of Health is reviewing the internship policy to address aspects of the program, including the need to transit to internship without any delay. As it is now what we are experiencing, the interns who have been out, some have been out for more than a year. And this actually delays them from getting the license that they need to practice. So the ministry is working on a policy, and yesterday we finalized internal stakeholders validation. Next week we shall be finalizing on external stakeholder validation, and is to invite the Senate that this is a place that we think that we can benefit from the wisdom of the members during the external stakeholder validation. The ministry is also ready to negotiate on the CBA, that is the new CBA, because the CBA under KMPDU, it lapsed in 2021. But we are aware that from the Ministry of Labor is that once a CBA lapses, until a new one is signed, that is when it comes into effect. On long-term measures, Speaker and honorable members, the ministry is in the process of developing the human resource for health policy to address all aspects of human resource for health in the country, the entire spectrum of the value chain, from production, supply, internship, regulation, employment, retention and distribution of stock density, skill mix and motivation, productivity, and general management. The ministry is also in the process of fully operationalizing the Kenya Health Human Resource Advisory Council to enable it execute its mandate. This entails providing the necessary budget, finalization of HR instruments in order to obtain the necessary skills and capacities to execute its mandate. The other measures, Speaker and honorable members, is that the conciliation meetings are ongoing, as well as the whole of nation ordered by the court. The court case is actually up for mention today, and the parties are expected to present the progress on conciliation committee meetings and WANA. The court is also expected to determine whether the doctor's strike is protected or not protected. I would like to ask of the members of this House that the ministry is doing its level best to ensure that the HRH matters are handled permanently. So we seek your support. And one of the sticky issues is this internship issue. And this internship issue, Speaker and honorable members, stems from the reason that we now have very many interns. Previously, we only had one university that was training doctors, University of Nairobi. At the moment, the country has 8 universities that is training doctors. Each year, currently we have over 1,000 graduates from the universities. The internship centers have not increased. We remain with the same number. The specialists have not increased in tandem. We remain with the same number. Therefore, the ministry is working on ensuring how do we manage this process from the time that one enters into university. How do we manage it so that by the time they're coming out for internship, the ministry is ready for them. They go through internship. But the biggest question, Speaker and honorable members, would be how do we ensure as a country that we actually provide employment to these doctors once they finish their internship? What stands between us and that is availability of resources. Speaker and honorable members, I submit.
Honorable Senators, we're now going to allow you to put questions to the CS regarding the statement or any other questions. In terms of time management, we have 45 minutes. And I see we have almost 12 or 13 members who want to ask a question. Now, in order of asking the questions, there is a request that we first allow members who have not asked any questions this morning, and then we allow the members who've asked. So we're going to proceed that way. Please, honorable senators, keep your questions very short. And CS, please, I will also urge you to keep your answers short and precise, so that we can manage the time and we'll be able to finish in good time. First question is going to go to Senator Agnes Kavindu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question starts from where we stopped before the statement from the CS, and I first of all want to congratulate her. She's standing firm on her job as a woman. I congratulate you as a woman. Thank you. As a woman and a CS, of course. Yes, a woman CS. My question goes to Madam CS about Bishop Kioko Hospital in Machakos. This bishop called me 3 years ago complaining to me that they've not been, their monies has not been remitted from NHIF. And Madam CS, this is a question that is worrying so many of these hospitals because they don't know the fate after the other organization takes over NHIF. And Madam CS, I know that you have told us that there's money which has been released already, but if you can give us timeline so that even as we talk to them, we can assure them, these are the timelines you're going to get your monies. My governor also has really been complaining about remittance from NHIF in the hospitals in Machakos, and this goes across the whole country. So if Madam CS, you can give us timelines, and what else we can beg you to do, Madam CS, is to see as a mother, as a CS, as a mother, how to end up this strike of the doctors, because we are losing so many people. We are losing a lot of people in this country because of the strike. So if also in the negotiations, I'm sure you have reached somewhere. Can you tell us something about, the timelines of these doctors going back to work and starting work as usual? Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Samson Cherargei.
Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, just on a follow-up on presentation of...
Order, senators. I have a list of the senators who've asked the question.
Mr.
Cherargei hayuko hapa. So please allow us to proceed.
Mr. Speaker, allow me to proceed. Mr. Speaker, I would like to just follow up question on the doctor strike. Madam CS, since you said the government was ready to hire 1,500 medical interns, how many have reported? And what are the terms of engagement with these interns? Because we are being told they wanted 200,000, you are ready to give 70,000 stipend. What are the terms apart from the stipend that you are giving Madam CS? And how many people are on a strike? Is it medical doctors only? Is it morticians? Is it anesthetists? Is it nurses? How many groups are on strike, as we know? Because when it started through you, Mr. Speaker, sir, Madam CS, it started only as a doctor strike over internship program. And on the basis that there was an issue, and update the House, Madam CS, on the issue of collective bargaining agreement between medical doctors and other cadres that we have discussed before. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The third question will be asked by Shakila Abdallah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll be very brief. My question to the CS is, what will be the fate of NHIF staff after the disbursement of NHIF? She is saying they'll be newly employed. Will they be paid their dues for the years they have been working? Because that part is silent from the government. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Madam CS, you can answer the three questions.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. The question by Senator Kavindu regarding Bishop Kioko, I think it's what I have responded to previously, and this is now the faith-based facility, and that the resources that we are receiving, as I did say, we have received a letter from Treasury confirming that we are going to receive the monies. So we await to receive the money, and we expect that they will hit our account this week. The National Hospital Insurance Fund is already working to ensure that once we receive the money this week, then from next week, payments should start going out to those claims that have been verified. And regarding the strike, and for me to give a definite date as to when the doctors will go back to work. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I would like to say that we are now in process of a negotiation. And with a negotiation, I am not able to confirm with certainty that then by tomorrow they'll be back to work. Of course, I would like that we finish in the shortest time possible. In fact, I would like that even since the matter is coming up for mention today by the Employment and Labor Relations Court, if out of it then doctors are able to go back to work today, that would be the ideal situation for us as a country. But we are going to put our best foot forward in this negotiation so that we ensure that then we go back to operations soon as possible. On the question raised by Senator Cherargei, I would like to confirm, first of all, that the medical officers who intern medical officers are not 1,500, but they are 1,210. This includes medical officers, pharmacists, and dentists. But after they went on strike, other cadres joined them. That is the clinical officers who joined the strike, and also the medical laboratory officers who joined the strike. So as we speak today, we have the medical officers on strike, we have the clinical officers on strike, and we have the laboratory officers on strike. But I would also want to confirm that we have those doctors who have been patriotic enough and they have continued to provide services. They are manning the emergency services. They are manning some of the facilities, and we are ensuring continuity of service. We have put in place administrative measures to ensure that at least services are being provided in the health facilities. The issue at hand is the offer that we have given, and I want to confirm that the ministry, having been constrained by National Treasury, that we post interns based on the available resources. The ministry did write to SRC for guidelines. And the guidelines we received from SRC is that the interns ought to get a stipend and not a remuneration. So the stipend that was offered is 70,000 shillings. And that is what we have offered. As I did indicate, the letters have gone out for medical officers, and we are going to begin taking stock from tomorrow in terms of those who have reported. But I also want to confirm that 1,270 clinical officers have reported in their duty stations. And also to confirm that it was not just the stipend for doctors that was fixed. Equally, the stipend for clinical officers was fixed. In the previous, the clinical officers were earning 15,000 shillings as a stipend for internship. Under the new regulations and guidelines that have been given by SRC, that has been enhanced to 35,000. And I want to confirm that those clinical officers have reported. What we are waiting, and the letters are out now, nursing officers' degree and clinical officers' degree have started collecting their letters, and the stipend is 50,000 shillings. In terms of payment to the doctors, Speaker and honorable members, the conversation of healthcare financing has to be discussed, not just by the Ministry of Health, but the whole government. And I believe that is the wisdom that the Honorable Judge of the Employment and Labor Relations Court ordered, that a whole of nation approach is taken so that we discuss. But as a ministry, we have not sat back. That is why we did bring to this Honorable House the 4 acts. And from the 4 acts, we have the Social Health Insurance Act, which in itself is supposed to enable us to collect resources and use those resources for providing healthcare services. One of the items that is going to be recovered by the resources from the Social Health Act is payment for all human resource for health officers across all cadres. And I really want to thank the nurses who have continued to work, to thank the doctors who have continued to work, and to thank all the cadres who have continued to provide services amid this crisis. Speaker and honorable members, I submit.
Thank you, CS. Next question will come from Alexander Mundingi.
Asante, Bwana Spika. Swali langu ni kwa waziri wa afya. Kwanza, waziri wa afya, ni asante sana. Mimi ni mmoja wale wanaume wanasapoti CS ama governors wakina mama wale wanafanya kazi nzuri. Pongezi kwa sababu wizara ya afya iko na shinda, kwa sababu tunajua katika Kenya iko katika devolved katika county government, na tunajua county nyingi siko na mambo ya ndeni na mambo ya pending bill, na umejaribu sana kulainisha afya. Swali langu ni kukuuliza, kwa sababu tunajua iko katika county government, na nastuka sana kuwa MP wale wanafaa watupatie pesa ya kupatia county government, ambaye wewe uweze kupatia county government pesa ipitie hapa, ndio anastumu wewe kusema uende nyumbani. Yangu ndio tufike hapo kwa waziri juu ya ndero. Wewe nyamaza.
Order.
Kwanza county yako iko na 90 billion. Nyamaza. Kwanza niulize swali. Ni Senator wa Embu County anaongea.
Order, Senator. Senator Alexander, order. What's your point of order, Sifuna?
Mr. Speaker, this is actually very embarrassing for this House. Standing orders require that you put a question to the CS. We are not here to worship the CS. We are not here to worship the CS. Ask a question. You cannot give us stories. If you want to give us stories, go and see the CS in the ministry and give us those stories you are giving us here. Mr. Speaker, please.
Let's hear the senator. Order. Order, senators.
Mr. Speaker,
order. He's on a point of order.
Yes,
Let
I'm
us
on a
hear
point
him.
of order. Mr. Speaker, we have very few minutes, and this is a critical national discussion and national debate. We are not here to kiss people's behinds. We are here to ask critical questions about the doctor strike. Can you limit the contribution of the senator to a question, Mr. Speaker?
Thank you. So, Senator Cherargei, what's your point of order?
Sorry, can I use this? Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm standing under Standing Order 121 and 122. If you have noticed, Mr. Speaker, today since morning, the Nairobi senator has had a habit of shouting and demeaning members. Mr. Speaker, I would like to request your attention, kindly. Mr. Speaker, have you noticed since morning, the Nairobi senator has been shouting, belittling, and hurling insults at the members across the aisle, especially on this side, Mr. Speaker. You need to rein. It is becoming grossly misconduct. He should be thrown out, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, under the Constitution freedom of speech, Senator Dr. Ali Munyi Mundigi has a right to ask the question they want. Why would you allow Senator Sifuna to use that parliamentary language by calling us that we are kissing people's behind? We are not. Our kisses are for somewhere else, Mr. Speaker. We don't kiss anybody's behind, Mr. Speaker. We just say it as it is. He must withdraw the last statement of using unparliamentary order members. Just wait. Mr. Speaker, he must withdraw the unparliamentary language of telling us that we are kissing other people's behind. We know what kisses are meant and where to kiss. We cannot be told by Senator Sifuna, Mr. Speaker. Can you call him out of order?
Honorable senators. Honorable senators, order, Cherargei, order. Senator Sifuna stood on a point of order that Mundigi was wasting time with a long statement instead of asking a question. And I have to warn Senator Mundigi. I did make a ruling and I was very clear. When you're given an opportunity to ask a question, go straight to your question and make it short and precise. Senator Sifuna, can you stop directing the chair? I don't need your assistance. Exactly, you are shouting across the aisle. Two wrongs don't make a right. Senator Sifuna, I would urge you to withdraw kissing whatever part of the body you had referred to and make it more parliamentary and withdraw that statement.
Luckily for me, I have the full range of the English language. I will withdraw the statement of kissing someone's behind, which is exactly what is happening, and replace it. I have withdrawn it. I am withdrawing it. Why, Mr. Speaker, can I continue?
Order. Proceed, Sifuna.
Mr. Speaker, if they don't listen to me, how will they hear it when I'm withdrawing it?
Proceed.
How will they hear when I'm withdrawing?
Order, senators. Order. We cannot proceed like this, senators. Order.
How else am I supposed to withdraw?
Just
How
withdraw.
many ways are there to withdraw other than the way that I am withdrawing?
Withdraw the
Mr.
statement.
Speaker, I am going to replace the phrase kissing the behind of the CS, which is exactly what they are doing, and replace it.
Can I hear him? Wait, let's hear him.
Replace it with massaging the CS for health, Mr. Speaker, because that's what they are doing.
Okay, senators, I have Oroba, Gloria. Order, senators. We cannot, no, I'm not going to give any more points of orders because we are not listening to each other. Order, senators. He withdrew, Cherargei. He withdrew. Order, senators. Senators, order. Order, senators. Cherargei, I will start by throwing you out. Order. I was listening. You were not listening. Senator, I will throw you out. We are not listening to each other, senators. Cherargei, you were not listening to Sifuna when he said he's withdrawn that statement. He has the right to replace it. It needs to make a sense. Order, the ruling. Order. Senators, you want us to proceed, senators? I'm not engaging you, Cherargei, in an exchange. I asked him to withdraw, and he withdrew. So can we proceed, senators? Let us proceed. The matter was parliamentary language. The issue was parliamentary language. Gloria, what is your point of order? But senators,
Mr.
I will
Speaker,
not...
Mr.
One
Speaker.
moment, Gloria. One moment. I will not allow a point of order if we're not going to engage ourselves in proper manners, okay? Let us agree. If you have a point of order, press your intervention button and I'll give you an opportunity. But shouting at each other across the aisle and shouting at the chair will not be entertained. Gloria, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, under Standing Order 122B, Mr. Speaker, and let me read it, gross disorderly conduct 122B, declines to retract use of unparliamentary language or declines to offer apologies despite having been ordered to do so by the Speaker. Mr. Speaker, for me today, and the reason I want to bring this to your attention, Mr. Speaker, we have had cabinet secretaries coming even today, and I have not had this language being referenced to our Minister of Defense. But Mr. Speaker, when a woman comes here, we have Nairobi Senator starting to throw words and demean women leaders. Because, Mr. Speaker, what Senator Sifuna is doing is belittling the women in this house and our women leaders. He must withdraw and apologize profusely, because when you see women, you cannot just be thinking about sexual references, such as kissing people's behinds, Mr. Speaker. This is completely out of order. And Senator Sifuna must not only apologize to this house, but to the women of Nairobi and to the women of Kenya. We are tired. Apologize and withdraw.
No, senators, I want to put this matter to rest so that we can continue to ask the question. Senators, order. As the chair, I asked Senator Sifuna to withdraw the statement he made about whatever he said, about kissing the behind. And Senator Sifuna did exactly that. He withdrew. He retracted that statement, and he retracted it. Just a moment, Cherargei. We cannot continue like this, seriously. Senator Sifuna retracted that statement to my satisfaction as the chair. Okay? Now, if you're going to make another point of order, which is not touching on parliamentary language that Sifuna used, I would have listened to you. But we are going about the same issue that was raised and was withdrawn. So, senators, we put this matter to rest, and we go to the next question. Senator Cheriot. There's nobody. Order. Mundingi. Senator Mundingi, if you had used the opportunity I gave you to ask the question, you would have asked by it. Now you've been overtaken. Senator Now it seems, Senator Professor Margaret Kamar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. May I take the first opportunity to thank Mr. Speaker, can you...
Sifuna, can we hear the professor in silent? You're protected, Senator. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the Minister for a good response, and I want to thank her for talking to the country and bringing some comfort, because we have all been very concerned about what's going on. Mr. Speaker, could the Minister assure us and the country that the current negotiations will not stop again? Because we reach a point when the medical doctors, the striking doctors as we call them, reached a point when they were saying it is the government that is on strike, it's not us that are on strike. There was a point also that we witnessed the negotiating side of the government walking out, because negotiations are negotiations. So long as the unions are here, negotiations must take place. Can we get an assurance that there will be no walking out until this is done from the minister? Secondly, the issue of risk allowance, Mr. Speaker, is something that has been on for many years. Why is it taking very long, and yet CRC was part of the All of Nation Approach Committee? Why wouldn't it have been discussed alongside that so that we don't have this delay? The problem, Mr. Speaker, is that people have died. And I think the minister knows that people have died. People are suffering as we are talking. People have had to go for very expensive alternatives. Why would we be dealing with an issue called risk allowance, which was done in the 90s? It was not even in the year 2000, it was before, when this idea of risk allowance, which was going on in other countries other than Kenya, were negotiated. Why would it not be done? So, finally...
Senator, just...
Two.
You've asked 2 questions.
Thank
That's
you.
more than enough. Senator Veronica Nduati.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And you have put to rest the points of order. Otherwise, I would have maybe advised my colleague, Senator Sifuna, on the meaning of common parlance of English language and how you cannot retract and then reinstate the statement in different words. Mr. Speaker, I will now go straight to the questions. I will go straight to the question to the Honorable CS. Once again, welcome to Senate. And as you very well know, healthcare remains a critical pillar to the welfare of our nation. And ideally, it should enjoy budgetary priority in resource allocation. So, Honorable Cabinet Secretary, Kenyans are very concerned about how prepared the ministry is in managing the transition from NHIF to SHIF without exposing and while avoiding any gaps that may expose the Kenyan population who require health care on a daily basis. And question number 2, so how prepared is the ministry in managing that transition? Number 2, you know, it is women who give birth. Linda Mama program seemed to have enjoyed a lot of popularity and is a program that was acclaimed and approved. Within the SHIF framework, the new framework, what is the ministry doing to design a specific program to Linda Mama, specifically that woman who is pregnant, for prenatal, labor, and childbirth, and postnatal care without limiting those visits to 2 or 4, but to Linda Mama in as much as they require that postnatal care until the mother and the baby are both safe in the ministry and within the public hospitals that we have in Kenya.
The third question will be asked by Senator Hamida Kibwana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Madam CS, I've just been wondering, actually the morgues are full now. The patients are not being attended to. They're not attending to the patients and they are dying. Does the government realize that this is a matter of life and death? How long will this go on, seriously? So we should continue losing lives just for the government to have its own time to honor the CBA? I think, seriously, it pains. It really hurts. Number 2, we've also realized that maybe once the interns are back, the interns are sent to work in facilities unsupervised. Now, this is, of course, risky. Without any personal, whatever, professionals being around, I'm wondering, we are talking about deaths, we're talking about interns also who are unsupervised. I don't know how this issue is going to be tackled, but please, our people are dying, Madam CS. Kindly do something. Thank you.
CS.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. I'll begin from the question of Senator Professor Kamar, that the KMPDU has alluded to the government being on strike. And they have explained that this is because the CBA was not implemented from 2017 to date. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, the CBA that was signed had several aspects. And in my earlier submission, we have put those matters into the different areas that need to take responsibility. We have matters for the national government, we have matters that are cross-cutting, we have matters of county government. Speaker and honorable members, I want to confirm that of the 6 issues that pertain to the national government, we have addressed them. The issue of postgraduate fee arrears, that has been addressed with the release of 200 million from National Treasury for payment. The issue of basic salary arrears within the CBA. As for the doctors who work within the national government, that aspect has been met. And in fact, there is an overpayment. And now the government is asking, what do we do with the overpayment of the arrears to the doctors? The issue of CBA between KMPDU and Kenyatta National Hospital was waiting concurrence from Salary and Remuneration Commission. That has already been done. The issue of CBA between Moi Teaching Referral Hospital and KMPDU, that has already been finalized. It was a matter in court and a decision was already passed. The issue of CBA between Kenyatta University Teaching and Research Hospital and KMPDU, the CBA is now ready. Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral Hospital has called the unions to go and discuss and negotiate on the CBA. So, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, on matters pertaining to the national government, progress has been made. The only sticky issue is the stipend. And Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I want to ask of this House, that as for that stipend, we are asking that if the interns, and should they accept that, then they open room for negotiation that government has offered. They have not come to the table to tell us that, no, we will not take that, we want this. That must be allowed to happen. Professor Kamar, on the issue of government walking out during the discussion, I was in that meeting, and I want to confirm that the government did not walk out. The meeting adjourned. Why did the meeting adjourn? Because we were following the orders of the judge from the court. And the judge ordered that the doctors should suspend the strike for negotiations to proceed. And that is what we were asking of the doctors. Suspend the strike, negotiations to proceed. And I want to confirm to the House that negotiations will be good. Negotiations will be done, in fact, accelerated if we have no people dying out of this strike. They will be accelerated if the doctors are at the bedside of the patients. The risk allowance, I want to clarify, on the issues raised by KMPDU, risk allowance does not arise. The people who raise the issue on risk allowance is the clinical officers. And they're saying they want the risk allowance to be enhanced from 3,000 shillings per month to 15,000 shillings per month. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, that is 500% increase in the risk allowance. That is an issue of budget. Once we get SRC guidelines, if that is possible, then we put it in the budget for consideration. And once the House, the National Assembly approves our budget, Exchequer is released, we shall be able to meet that. Because we know that whatever they are doing is risky, and indeed, they deserve risk allowance. So the issue is the movement from 3,000, 15,000, the 500% increase. If SRC confirms that that is in order, then we'll put measures in place for resources to be put together for that. The issue raised by Honorable Senator Veronica. Earlier, I have spoken about the transition from NHIF to Social Health Authority. As a ministry, we have done our best. And that is why we put together a transitional committee, a committee of experts to guide the process. And as I did reported earlier, there is a roadmap, and we meet after every 2 weeks, and we are satisfied with the progress that is going to be a smooth transition. And no patient should actually notice that there was a change. It should be a seamless transition. On the issue of Linda Mama, I want to confirm, as a mother myself, and probably aspiring to get another child, maternal health is of importance to me. So I will not be the one to preside over a situation where maternal health is not covered by this country. And I want to confirm that in the Social Health Authority, reproductive health has been covered under the benefit package. In fact, it is an expanded package from what was there under Linda Mama. So let's not be stuck on the name of Linda Mama. Let us be concerned about what is it that they were getting then and what is it that they are getting in the new one. And I confirm that is expanded and the benefits are expanded. On the question raised by Senator Hamida regarding the government and the ministry, whether we know the situation. Yes, Senator, we indeed know the situation. On a daily basis, we are tracking what the situation looks like. We have developed a tool that is being filled by the county governments. We have developed a tool that is being filled by the national referral hospitals, whom we have 100% control over. And for the weeks that the strike has progressed, I want to confirm that in our teaching and referral hospitals, Moi Teaching and Referral Hospitals has recorded the highest increase in the number of medical officers who have gone back to work based on the administrative measures that we have put in place. But also take responsibility that in Kenyatta, we have an issue because the registrars have not gone back to work. And registrars are people who are now doing their postgraduate training. We have government-sponsored and private-sponsored. Those are the people that we are talking to so that they can get back to work and be able to carry on with what they have been doing. So we do understand as a ministry the gravity of this matter. And that is why on a daily basis, nowadays, for the last 3 days, I think, we have been in meetings till midnight to find a solution to this issue. And as I have said, this solution will not just come from the Ministry of Health. It will come from the whole of nation approach and the ministry being able to implement what will have been agreed on. I have also said that we expect a ruling from the court today. The mention is happening today. But the judge in his wisdom already ordered the doctors to suspend the strike. I want to plead with the doctors that if they respect the court orders and suspend the strike, they will create a very good environment of being listened to, and even the government also moving forward so that we meet somewhere with the doctors. Regarding internship centers, I want to confirm that as a ministry, we have a criteria that is used to determine what centers become internship centers. There must be existence of specialists who will supervise the interns. There must be existence of equipment that the interns will use. There must be existence of commodities for the interns to use. And that's why we are saying we want to take time and ensure that this matter is resolved for once. Because we have 85 internship centers in the country. 65 of them are in public hospitals. So as a ministry, we have at least ensured that the commodity aspect is taken care of. The equipment aspect, we are working on it. And now, what was remaining is to ensure that there are specialists there, but to confirm that we have a number that should be able to supervise the internship. Speaker and honorable members, I would like to say as well that this is a shared function devolved. So the county governments have their responsibility to take, the governors to take in this matter. Where the union has raised specific issues with them, we expect that the governors should handle those issues. The issues that have been raised to the national government, I have confirmed to this House that indeed we have handled them. Speaker and honorable members, I submit. Thank you.
Thank you, CS. Senator George Mbugwa. And please be very brief.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Madam CS, I have a simple question to you. From where you sit, due to the importance and the complex nature of this sector, do you think it's time the country start a conversation of transferring the human resource of health from the county government and the creation of a health service commission so that we can have order in this sector? Thank you.
Senator Beatrice Ogola.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. My question, the first one is, Madam CS, what is the fate of the UHC staff whose contract ended, taking into consideration that as a nation we are looking at achieving universal health? On the strike, Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to say that negotiations need goodwill from both parties. Even the language we use when we are negotiating is very important. I realized the CS at some point was giving a statement that was kind of running away from the whole challenge. Like when you say only this number belong to the national government, it is like saying somebody else should be solving it. But the buck stops with you, and the buck stops with the head of state. I do not understand why, as a nation, it is so easy to give foreigners or other people good packages. I remember sometimes back when we were engaging the Cuban doctors,
Senator,
a lot was given to them.
Get to your question, please.
Why is it difficult to attend to the doctors' need when we could give the Cuban doctors a lot of leeway?
Thank you, Senator.
You also said
Senator, you
that
can only ask
they have
one
not
question.
come to us.
Senator Beatrice.
Yes, Speaker.
You've asked two questions. Senator Beatrice. Thank you, Senator. Senator Mofire.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My question is on Marimant Level 4 Hospital, which is in Tharaka-Nithi County. This is the only facility in the entire eastern part of Tharaka-Nithi County, which serves quite a number of catchments, including Ukambani, part of Ukambani. This hospital, Madam CS, lacks some very essential machines, including the CT scan, the renal unit equipment, and the mammogram. Honorable Madam CS, what is the ministry doing to make sure that this facility is equipped so that we can get people having services that are required, considering that this is the only facility? Currently, we are about to graduate, these facilities are about to graduate into a level 5 hospital, and quite a number of nurses are taking rotational courses there. What is your ministry doing to make sure that the Marimanti Hospital is being equipped with the necessary machines as required.
Thank you, Senator. CS, please respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. The question raised by Senator Mbugua, whether it is a high time for there to be a health commission. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I take note that this is the House that is the defender of devolution. This is the House that is supposed to ring-fence and take care of devolved function. Having a health commission would be ideal, but that process would be outside the mandate of the Ministry of Health. It would be a constitutional question. So since the conversation is ongoing, and if everyone believes that then that is the direction to be taken, then we as a ministry are happy that then the process of having a health commission through a constitutional process is then started so that then that is achieved. On the issues raised by Senator Beatrice, I do understand your concern regarding the language of discussion. I take responsibility if I have sounded like I am not using the right language, but at times it becomes difficult when you want to give the real numbers, which, for example, when we speak about clinical officers, of the 14,000 clinical officers in service, 158 belong to the national government, and that is under my armpit. So that is to say that then the conversation needs to go beyond the Ministry of Health and go to the governors, so that then they are able to take care of the remainder balance of the clinical officers. Regarding the Cuban doctors, I would like to confirm, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, that when we came into the office, we looked at the contract that was there. And for sure, it was not competitive enough. It was not sustainable for the government to continue with that program. And we did terminate the program of Cuban doctors, and they went back to Cuba.
CS, I'll just interrupt you. It's already 1 o'clock. I will give you 1 minute to answer the question for more fire so that we can rise as a House.
Thank you very much, Speaker and honorable members. On the question by Senator Gataya, I would like to confirm, Senator, that I have personally been to Marimanti Level 4 Hospital, and we were there to look at what are the needs, because we had received a request from the governor regarding elevation of that facility. And we did agree that we do not want just to elevate and call it level 5 for a name. We have to ensure that it has the equipment, it has the HRH, and it has all other items that are required for its lifting. So we are in discussion with the county government to see how we support it to get the much needed equipment so that once then it meets the criteria, it can be moved to level 5. Speaker and honorable members, I submit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Health, for appearing today. Honorable Senators, it is now 1:01 p.m. and having concluded the business for which I extend the hours of sitting pursuant to Standing Order 34-2A, the Senate stands adjourned until today, Wednesday, 17th April 2024 at 2:30 p.m.
会。行嘞，你是不是挂彩了？赶紧歇着去。
Ili kupata uchungu mtamu kama skiza tuni yako, bonyeza *812*504#.
Je, wajua